Daniel, let's start episode 248. Hey, those kind of, isn't that like the name of it? Like 2, 4, and 8? Like they double to get each other? I don't know. I feel like there's some kind of math thing for that.
Math stuff. Yeah. This is your math cast.
Dumb math stuff. It's just Tim and Dan, guys, for a nice Thanksgiving fireside chat. Actually, technically, for those of you who will be watching and listening to this, we're into December. We're officially launching you into the month of
Mm.
December with the latest episode of the Current Gen podcast. And we'll talk about some of the games that are coming out this month. Not a ton on that list, even fewer on the list of new games for this week, by the way. So, not a ton to talk about there either. But then we got some headlines to get through. And maybe, just maybe, if there's time, we'll see what kind of mood we're both in. Maybe we'll take a little walk down memory lane. I know our buddy Kyle can't be here, but this is in honor of him having my evening coffee with
Oh.
the my Death Star mug.
Now, Tim, if you
Yeah.
if you poked if you poked at a very specific spot on that mug, would it just deteriorate? Like,
Let's find out.
imagine though, could you?
I know.
Everything
There's
just
just
falls.
coffee all over me.
Ah!
Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing my evening coffee. By the way, I don't mind a nice like a dessert like coffee drink where you add all the sugar and all the flavors to it.
Oh, sure.
But typically
Yeah.
I just drink coffee black like a man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm opposite, so I'm not a man apparently.
You put all the things in it.
I put all the things.
all the
Yeah.
things. That's how
Yeah.
that's my wife drinks it.
Yeah.
And my son too. They both like it. With
Oh,
all the
nice.
extra stuff thrown in there, but not me. I mean, I do like it that way too. Like if she makes me a nice coffee drink and puts all the whatever sugar and stuff
Here's
in
the
there, I'll
thing though.
drink it.
So we use syrups, flavored syrups. So
Okay,
we
sure.
don't even
Yeah,
put the grainy sugar. So it just adds a nice little extra flavor. Also, you can be a little more precise with it because it's like a syrup, you know. Um, but yeah, it's nice making all that at home because you can kind of balance things out and really still get. Because the thing for me is I still like having the flavor of coffee like pull through. You know what I mean?
I do.
But like mixing with the stuff, it's not just like a dessert. Like I still like the flavor of the coffee to come through.
What's your go-to coffee drink? If you did go to a Starbucks or wherever to order something, what would you get?
I think usually whenever we do go to Starbucks, is it a latte? I think I get a latte.
Like something
Um,
caramely, maybe?
yeah. Or like vanilla, something vanilla or caramel. They
Vanilla?
have the what is it? The blonde roast,
Oh
which
yeah.
has a nice smooth. Like that one's really smooth. I
Much
like
lighter.
those beans. Yeah. Some good
Yep.
beans.
Yep, I get it. I like the caramel drinks too. So speaking of which, my wife and I did have our 20th anniversary this past week.
Oh,
So
hey, yeah, look at that.
many years
Aren't
of
you guys
being
cute?
married.
You guys are so cute.
We are
Look
so
at you.
cute. Yeah. And she's here to celebrate with me. Come, no, she's not actually.
Sure she is.
She's like, I've had enough of you this week. No, but we had a couple of days in a row where we wanted to go do a bunch of stuff together in town. We didn't have anyone to watch the kids overnight, but we had daytime stuff set up where they could go and be occupied. And so anyway, we the second day we went out was really peaceful, calm, and we went and did the coffee thing. Like we actually went and got a flight of coffee drinks. So you pick out 4 different flavors, and they kind of
Yeah.
There was like a chai. There was some kind of coyote coffee that was pretty tasty. Had a bunch of cinnamon in it, and then we had a couple of lattes that were really good. One of them was like this pink salted caramel something. It was really good. So we did that. That was a lot of fun. But the day before, we live in Colorado, and so we decided, hey, let's drive up to this trail that I keep hearing about from friends. It's a great trail. It's got great views. We looked online. The views look amazing. It's supposedly like a 4-mile round, just under 4-mile round trip. So it's just under 2 miles there, just under 2 miles back. Very doable. It's not there is a good amount of elevation to it, but it's not incredibly difficult. So anyway, it just seemed like we can do this. And so we're driving up there, and what I didn't realize is the trailhead is actually quite a ways up into the mountains. So this is going to include a lot of like off-roading.
Oh, okay.
And we do not have a great off-road vehicle. We do have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. That's not the one that we brought. And so we brought our minivan, just thinking, hey, this gets great gas mileage. Didn't even think about the anyway. So we're going up the side of this mountain, and there had been snow, but it had been so sunny and warm. I'm thinking we're in the clear. All the roads are clear. Even as the paved road turned into dirt road, as we hit the mountains, I was like, okay, should be okay. I think everything was dry, melted, no problem.
Okay.
And then we get to the side of the mountain that hasn't seen the sun in a few months. You know what I mean?
Okay.
all the snow that had built up there. It doesn't matter the temperature, it's still there. And
Okay.
not only that, all the 4x4 vehicles had gone over and created these nice, icy, smooth grooves,
Sure.
and
Sure.
it's pretty steep incline.
Is there a
So
railing? Is some kind of railing there? Like,
no railing
yeah, no,
whatsoever.
no, bail, bail,
I
bail.
didn't bail soon enough, Dan. So we're going up the side of this mountain.
Oh no.
I went around 2 or 3 of these really hairpinned style curves. Again, with our minivan, front wheel drive only, barely kind of making it through these. And my wife starts paying attention to what's happening. She's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
Like, and a
what?
couple of these there's a couple inside turns, a couple outside turns. The inside
Mm,
turns is where the snow was deepest, but
mm,
didn't feel as dangerous because the drop off just wasn't quite as bad. There were closer
mm.
trees to the edge. But on the outside turns is where the drop offs were much more severe. And like,
Yeah,
that's death down that way, right?
yeah. You don't
And
want
on
that.
we did like 5 or 6 in a row of like we should not be driving on this, and it
Yeah.
wasn't getting any better. And then all of a sudden I could feel it. The van's progress just slowed,
Sure.
stopped, and
Ooh.
the tires were just spinning left and right. Wasn't really working, and the ice does not care which direction your wheels are turned. And so we just kind of start sliding, and we kind of come to a little bit of a stop, and then we just freeze. We got no cell service.
Oh my God.
I think
Jeez.
we were like 6 miles from paved road. We had gone 6 miles of back mountain roads.
Jeez.
And so, but thankfully it was early enough in the day. There was still a lot of sunshine left. So we tried for like an hour. I was able to successfully back down. You'd be impressed, Dan. I was able to back down, I think, one and a half of the turns, slip and slide in, kind of like we
You
just need to
used
get
your
out of
video
here.
game hand-eye coordination.
Dude, you should have seen me. I was Grand Theft Autoing this bad boy, switching the
Yeah, there
camera
you go.
view.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Right, right, right.
that's how life works. So I was
Exactly.
backing down, and then eventually we just got on one of the inside turns.
Hmm.
The snow was too deep, and the front wheels both just got into these grooves, and they just couldn't move. They were just totally stuck. And
Crazy.
so we eventually, long story short, we eventually just realized we have to walk back till we get cell reception and just call a tow. And we
Oh
knew
my
that there are
God.
some like mountain tow trucks around that they just need to get us out of, it was probably like an eighth of a mile worth of snow and ice. And
Jeez.
then there was a couple little pull-off spots where people could park and camp or whatever. We just
Sure.
needed them to get us to one of those. And then we could turn our van around and drive
Okay.
down. So we start walking back, and the walk back, I mean, the ice stuff was scary, but the walk back was legitimately the most scared I've probably been in my entire life. So
Oh
we were
wow.
walking back.
Man, and this is for your anniversary, by the
This is
way.
our anniversary celebration.
Jeez.
So we suited up, we got all our stuff, we brought some protein bars, we got our water, we got phones, wallets, just in case we ended up having to abandon the van for a few days. We didn't know what was going to happen. We
Sure.
got all our most important stuff, locked up the van. By the way, I had a new ring to give her, like a new diamond ring for 20th
Oh,
anniversary, right? We
jeez.
upgrading the old one. It was
Mm,
in my pocket to give to her during the hike. I was gonna, pop like the 20th anniversary proposal. It's gonna be very
sure.
cute. It falls out while I was trying to like get all the put sticks underneath the wheels, and try like, and so I
Jesus.
just told her, I was like, babe, I have a ring for you, and I dropped it somewhere. So she starts helping me look for it, and like, so she found it. We did find the box. So,
Okay.
um, thankfully we got that. But anyway, as we're
Jesus.
walking down the hill,
This
I remember
legit sounds like a movie, by the way. Like this just sounds like the start of
it
like
got crazier. We were walking
some
down the
like
hill, and I told her, I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw 1 or 2 cars pulled off. Looked like they were going to camp or hunt or something. Maybe one of them has a 4x4 enough vehicle that they could help pull us, or maybe they even
mm,
have a lot of these people who live in the mountains have these winches on the front of their
yeah, yeah,
vehicles. They
yeah.
could, I just needed someone to give me a tug out of these like corners, and then I'm done. Then we're out. We're good. And so as we're coming around the corner, I spot a car, and immediately I wanted to turn around and go back. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. Something about this vehicle and the guy wearing like he had like his hood
Oh
on,
no, no.
and there was something about him that was just
The dark
off.
shades.
And I said it to my wife, and she was kind of like, it's probably nothing. But he had this silver SUV. He had a front right panel was replaced with a black panel, so the car kind of looked like shady, stolen, beat
Jeez.
up, something. And he was doing a lot around his car. He was like walking to the various doors, opening them, doing something, closing them, going to the hood, had the hood open, was doing some. It was very weird. I don't know what was
Mm,
happening, but we had no choice. This is the only path to get down, so we just start walking to go past him. And as soon as he spots us, He walks around from the back of the car and comes towards us and stands like right on the edge of the road as we're walking past, and he's just glaring at us, like won't say a word, but he's like staring daggers at us. I legit thought, why don't I have a gun? We're gonna die. Like
Jesus.
I was like, this guy wants to kill us.
You never know. You're up in the mountains, like.
He looked really mad that we were there. And then I kind of said something awkward like, "Hey man, do you need some help or something?" Because the way he walked over towards us,
Sure,
I
sure.
I was trying to de-escalate whatever the thing while he kept walking, and he didn't respond. He just kind of raised his chin at me and just kept staring at us. It was so weird, man. Like I was waiting for him to pull out a gun or something.
I mean,
So
he had dead bodies in his
so
car,
tell
but
me,
like.
my wife actually thinks maybe he was drug related, kidnapped someone, like something, or was getting rid of a body. Like she thinks something horrible was happening. So tell me if you think this was a good response. I didn't know how to make this guy think that we could somehow be a threat besides putting my hand in my pocket, being like, I have a gun, like I didn't.
Yeah, with like in the hoodie, like jacket,
Yeah,
and like.
yeah, I
Like,
have a gun. Yeah.
I gotta.
So I pull out my phone and I actually start loudly talking as if someone is on the way to get us. And I was like,
Sure,
oh, hello? Oh, awesome. You're almost here? Yeah, we're right in the road. You'll see us. Oh, like 2 minutes? I started like making this up, like
sure,
really
sure.
loudly, really obnoxiously. And I was like, this is great. And my wife is not following with me at all. And she looks and she goes, who are you talking to? It's like, shut
Like,
up.
sweetie, we don't have service up here. What are you doing? like, God
Shut
damn
up.
it. God damn it.
So we keep walking.
Give me the
He
ring
he's
back.
he doesn't move. He stares the whole time and his head just turns and follows us around the corner. Like something's wrong with this guy, right? He's either trying to scare us, which was working,
Yeah.
intimidation was doing something wrong. Maybe he's just wanted and was trying to hide up there. I don't know. But as soon as we get around the bend, I hear all the doors and the hood shut. Do, 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 do. Like all of them close. And he gets in, I hear him start up his car. I'm like, he's coming this way. So I made her
God.
jump into the forest with me and hide. Like we ducked down, we got behind this brush. We found this one bush that was really thick. And she's like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, shut up. No, it's not. And so he slowly drove by us, and I could see him kind of like looking in his window, like he was looking. So again, no idea if he had ill intentions towards us in that moment, but we'll
Jesus
never
Christ.
know because we never saw him again. He drove past. We waited for like 10 minutes and then still didn't. I tried calling 911 and the lady put me on hold for a long time. Like I was just like, can we have a deputy or someone come up here?
On
And
hold?
yeah, yeah.
Jeez. Are you shitting me? Like, on
No,
hold.
yeah, I know. She put me on hold. I kept going, ma'am, are you there? Because I think he's coming after us. Like it was because I had signal that would come and go. So anyway, eventually we got out, and the only cars we saw come back up the mountain were like mostly young college age guys who were all in like Jeeps or big like Hummer looking SUVs, and they were
Sure.
they were like, yeah, we're going up there to run. Is everything okay? And we told them about our van, but none of them had any way to help us out. They said we can try to
Mm,
push you. I was like, it's fine. If we drive all the way up there and we can't get out, now we have to walk back down again to try to get help again. So
sure.
we eventually got enough service where I got a tow truck to come. His name was also Tim, which was awesome.
Oh, well, there you go.
And he was great. He did a really good job of helping guide us down. And he did
Sure.
use this big giant cable and kind of tugged us out of that space and then
Yeah.
halfway down the lane. And then yeah, eventually it was all fine. So we ended up spending about
Jesus.
4 hours or so on the side of a mountain doing. Actually, you know what? We did do hiking. We hiked like two and a
Yeah.
half miles down the
Yeah.
mountain on the road.
You got some good, like, cardio in the sense that your heart was racing. So,
Ugh. And we got a story out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're alive
But
to see, you're still alive to tell the story.
it made me realize two things. One, I'm
Oof.
lucky I don't live in a place where I have to like be fear for my life because someone could at any point. I mean, I guess that could happen anywhere you are, but for
Could
the
happen
most
anywhere.
part,
Yeah.
I don't think I experienced that a lot where my life is
Yeah.
truly in danger.
Sure.
But number two, it was like I think that's the first time I've actually felt like if I interact with this person again, like he might attack us. Like what are we gonna do?
Sure.
So I had never really experienced that before as
Yeah.
with my
That's
middle class white privilege over here. So,
it's not a fun feeling. That's
no.
definitely not a. I remember that only happened like maybe to me like once. I was out way too late and I was taking the bus back home to this was like when I was like maybe 18.
Okay.
So I think it was like right before I got a car because I unfortunately didn't get a car till I was like 18. I wasn't one of these cool kids driving around at 16. But I just remember walking as I was walking home. I walked past someone and he had like a really weird, distinct odor, and he looked weird, like probably something drug related. Like his face, like just had something going on.
Yep.
And I forget, I don't even remember what he asked me, but he asked me something, and I just
He
kind of
saw
tried to
you
be
and
like,
thought
yeah,
you were
dude,
a
like,
demon. Yeah, he thought he
yeah,
had to
like
defeat
kind of
you.
like, to be honest, a little bit like that, but like not like he wasn't like aggressive with me, but like he definitely just had something going on. So I try to be like, yeah, sure, yeah, like try to like meet his energy a little bit to not seem like I was like concerned. And then I walked past him and kept walking, and definitely looked behind me a few times. So, he went, in the opposite direction, but I was like, oh shit, man, like, just out here in the middle of the night, like, yeah, you never know. Wrong place at wrong time. You never know.
Well, full transparency. Once we got down to where there were actually some driveways and houses, about 2 miles down from where we were stuck, there was mostly just sporadic mountain houses, like people who had built a house up there and bought land, whatever, had their little driveways. But at least it was some element of civilization that we felt like, okay, there's less likely to be some, like, I don't know, someone hiding out up here.
Yeah.
And we started to see a couple of cars go by here, like once every 20 minutes or so. And so the adrenaline started to come down. And so this had been probably about 2 hours or so of like just top line adrenaline, sliding down the hill backwards in our van, thinking we might be stuck, thinking we were about to get murdered, like all these things happening. And so then we changed the subject and we're talking, and I was just telling her about the ring, and she was like, well, what were you gonna say? And so I was like, oh, I can tell you what I was thinking for the proposal.
Sure.
And I realized in that moment, when you have that much of these powerful chemicals released in your brain, all this cortisol, all this adrenaline, all this stuff that's in your brain, and then you shift into dopamine or endorphins like too quickly, it's like this wave of emotions. And so I couldn't even talk. I just started like sniveling. Like I was just like, I don't know what I was gonna say. Like I just started crying.
I mean,
I was like,
you
what's
were
wrong
in a
with
state
me?
of thinking you were maybe gonna get killed. Like that like, right. You were up in the middle of like no one around. Like you think so. I think that makes sense. Like,
I think so. I looked it up later. I was like, am I like something wrong with me? Like I cry from time. I'm not like afraid of crying, but like I'm not a sobber. Like I'm not someone who can't get through my words because I cry too hard. But that's kind of what the experience was like right there. And I was like, oh, my brain was too injected with these insane amounts of chemicals from everything we had just gone through.
The relief of not being hacked to bits.
It was a lot of relief. And then of course, when the guy was able to successfully get our van far enough down through the ice to where we could turn around, and then we followed him to where there was no ice or snow left. Then we pulled off, paid him, gave him a super big tip, like, you're the man, you just saved our butts. Like, and then the drive home, I could just feel all the energy just coming down. I was like, oh man, I am so tired. Like it was only like 1 PM, and she was like, I am too. Like we were just so exhausted. Yeah, we were so exhausted. But
well, I mean, you were also walking like for an hour, a couple hours.
We did walk. Like, and downhill. So like your IT bands get messed up going downhill that much. But anyway.
Was it cold too? Like I imagine
it wasn't too. Right? It was like in the 40s, but there was enough sun that would come and go depending on where we were. That it wasn't horrible. I did start. There were certain times in the shade where after a while I was like, I am getting really cold, but then it would go away. Yeah. So yeah, it was like in the 40s, I think. So
that's pretty crazy, Tim. Probably shouldn't do that again.
There's your non-video game fireside chat. Yeah, she goes.
Probably shouldn't take the minivan.
She goes, we can come back like in the summertime. I was like, I'm never driving up this hill again. I don't know what you're talking about.
I want nothing to do with this area for the rest of my life.
I'll look at pictures of the view. Okay, we'll go to a different hike next time. We've done a lot of local hikes and stuff, but we hadn't gone that far up just for the sake of doing a hike before. We've gone up there to those kind of places for camps and stuff for the kids, but that's in the summertime. And those roads are crazy, but in the summertime, it's mostly loose gravel and dirt. You have to kind of power your way through, and it's fine. But in the winter, dude, you've got to really want it and be prepared for it. Like we didn't end up seeing a deputy came up to check on us after we got disconnected or whatever, and he had like chains on his tires and stuff. Like yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
I said something to my wife about it, and then they made the joke, and it took me forever to remember the reference, but I was like, he had chains on his tire. He had chains on his legs. And I kind of looked at her. I was like, that's from something, right?
Yeah.
It's from The Office. It's when Michael Scott's talking about it's Prison Mike. And he's talking about
chains on his legs?
Yeah. He's talking about prisoners. They're like, with chains on their legs.
Okay. I don't know why that one part is not like sticking out to me with the amount of times I've watched The Office.
Dude, I've never quoted it before. I don't know where my brain went there and pulled it out. Like, I even wonder, like, hey, if I had gotten killed by that guy and my wife's laying there beside me, and are my last words gonna be some random stupid quote like that make no sense? Like, chains on your legs. Like, is that the last thing I'm gonna say? Anyway, whatever.
It's the Dementors.
It's the Dementor. Yeah, it's that whole scene where he says something about that breaking rocks.
I just don't remember.
With chains on your legs.
Yeah, I just funny.
Pretty sure it's there.
I think it's just because the rest of that scene, everything else he's saying is so absurd. Like,
yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're alive, Tim. I'm glad that you guys are okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, for those of you who are wondering, why are we talking about all this? It's because we have no new games to talk about this week. None.
That's the new game. It's Tim Survival 2024.
That's right. The only new games that I noticed were Nine Souls is on Game Pass and on everything else.
I saw that.
You've played that before. You liked that game. There's Neon Blood, which I played the demo for. It wasn't really my thing. The art style's cool. The art style's really cool, but the gameplay I did not think was that fun. Personally, it's like a weird turn-based thing, but not really. I don't know. I didn't really like it. Critter Cafe.
Sounds cute.
Sounds like a place that Gaston would go for lunch, maybe.
I would go.
Sounds like a place that Dan and Gaston would go together.
Cafe.
Okay. There's a difference. There's a big difference.
It's definitely a difference.
And then Wild Country, which I wrote down and I looked at it, but now I'm totally forgetting what it is. I guess I have to look that up now. What is Wild Country?
I can confirm Critter Cafe does look cute.
Wild Country also is like a cute animal game. It's a card game.
It's a good time of the year for that, you know?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of like cute little animal themed games, my family and I played a little Everdell. Played it with my friends last week too. That's a really fun board game.
I looked that up. I do like the art on the cards. The tabletop one actually, the actual like legit tabletop like version looks cool because it's got like the whole like mat thing, but then like a tree that you like piece together. Like
there's a physical tree, and you actually put these special not events, but kind of these things you can earn for extra points along the top. If you've ever played stuff like Seven Wonders, it's got a similar vibe to that, where you have a limited amount of time to use your very limited resources to try to get a certain collection of cards or combo of things to get points, and at the end you just tally up who has the most points. And you're basically one of a bunch of different types of critters. You have 4 seasons to try to build up your little Everdell village or your Everdell city. And so you use your resources to then use a card to maybe it's like build a library. And if you do that, you might be able to, I think it's got some kind of special ability on it where you can do something the next season. There's all these little rules with it. So it's got little pieces of Magic the Gathering kind of, because every card has a new rule or something that activates when you play it. So there's a little bit of Magic the Gathering, but mostly something like Seven Wonders. It's a little complex at first, but once you get it, you're like, oh, it's pretty straightforward. So I like it. Little elements of something like Carcassonne too, because you're placing your little figurine down somewhere on the board to claim something.
And you're speaking my language right now because I've been playing the crap out of the Pokemon TGCP.
Ooh, that game is crushing it right now, man.
I know. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? It's Pokemon, so, and I mean, the card game has existed for many, many years.
Do you have to go anywhere for that, or you literally just sit and play it?
You just sit and play. Yeah, you just sit. And
so it's not like Go, where it's trying to get you to go to locations to do Pokemon.
No, it's literally just straight up digital, like the digital Pokemon card, the game.
It's Pokemon Stay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you ain't going nowhere. I mean, you can if you want, but.
So tell me about some of the cards. Like, have you spent a lot of money on it yet? Have you gotten some good stuff yet?
I just did there's like a 2-week free trial of like the whatever membership it's called, where I think you get like an extra pack pull, and it's a couple of little extra bonuses. But yeah, basically I like activated that and then like just had it. I immediately did the turn off auto renewal because I don't need that charging me. But
yeah, I guess.
But yeah, it's really fun. And the frustrating thing though is like the RNG for me has just been atrocious. And maybe this is the case for other people too. But like it's one of those things where like if you just don't get good cards in the beginning of a match or early on in a match, like I feel like you're just kind of screwed. Because and especially early on with this having just been introduced, there's not like a crap ton of cards yet. Like there's 266, I think, which isn't like a super small amount, but like, I mean, again, this card game's been around for years, so there's thousands and thousands of cards. So a lot of people are already having most, if not all, of these cards. So you're going against people that you're seeing a lot of the same cards that you have. So like, if they get the good cards and you don't, it's really challenging to win a match, in my opinion. But it's, I don't know, it's still fun. That's the thing.
Is
Like I
so
say,
is it just the matchmaking needs to be improved to help you like face off against folks that it makes sense for you to face? You know what I mean, based on your card strength
so
or whatever.
there's like two options. It's beginner and something. I don't know if I have it pulled up. I might have closed out the window. I did. But yeah, there's like two difficulties of like, I think who it's gonna pair you with. So there's beginner and then whatever the other one is. I can't remember what it is. But you can basically go against the NPC. So solo it's called, and there's, so I don't know if that's gonna come through.
Oh yeah.
So there's different, like right now there's this right here, which is like an event going on. It's Venusaur specific. So there's like promo cards that you can get. So there's the Venusaur promo card.
Okay.
So there's like little events like that, and then as see if I can scroll. There's like all these other little like things that you can go into, and then there's actually like challenges within there, like use this type of card to do this thing. So like it's not just straight up also just battling. It's actually trying to kind of like teach you to be like, use this card that does sleep on a like put a Pokemon to sleep. So so that's kind of cool because there's actually at least some like kind of thought going on there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, versus you can do private match and then random match. So if I click random, yeah, so there's beginner and then trading card game player. So recommended for players who are familiar with battling or who are looking for a challenge. So basically, you know, not easy mode. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if maybe adding another, you know, like option in the middle there somewhere, like, I don't know. I think there just needs to be more cards so people just kind of have more to play around with, more variety. But yeah, it's just, I think that's just probably a card game thing. Sometimes the RNG is just like, hey, screw you. So it's just like you're not getting the good cards, you know, early on. So
yeah, I was looking at and I don't know how accurate SimilarWeb is on this particular thing. I've used SimilarWeb actually in my work with SEO stuff to see like rankings for stuff. But they have a top apps ranking list. I just Googled and they were the ones that came up where they'll show you the top grossing apps. And I think it's as of this year. Maybe it's just on a specific date. Well, whatever. But consistently at the top on both Apple and Google Play Store is Monopoly Go, is like the top one right now.
Okay. Interesting.
But Pokemon TCG Pocket is on both lists. I think it's at number five in Google and number 6 on Apple App Store. Back to it here. Our connection dropped, but we're back. Pokemon TCG Pocket, to sum up, it's making a lot of money. And it's pretty fun if you like Pokemon. If you like Pokemon card games, especially, go give it a look. I mean, it's free. I mean, you can spend money on it, but you can download it and try it out.
Right.
If you want
to. You literally just like any mobile game, it's gonna like do the whole like you gotta wait X amount of hours to do XYZ thing, and it's like, well, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait and not give you money. So
yeah, it's interesting to see the ones that are making the most money here, but also not all that surprising. If you go worldwide, it's going to be stuff like Honor of Kings, which I've never heard of, but that apparently makes, just in the first half of 2024, it made $960 million.
Jesus Christ. Oh, that's it? That's all it made?
Almost $1 billion. Number 2 behind that was Monopoly Go, like I mentioned earlier. But anyway, Honor of Kings, it's a Tencent game.
God damn it, Tencent.
I know.
God damn you.
I know. Yeah, so Honor of Kings. So there you go.
This looks like a MOBA. All right, I'm not surprised now.
Yeah.
This looks like a MOBA. Love MOBAs. Yeah.
I didn't realize that Tencent owns PUBG Mobile too, but maybe they acquired the PUBG people.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, enough of this mobile silliness. Let's talk about real gaming stuff. Ugh, mobile so stupid. Whoever plays on mobile anyway, you know what I'm saying?
I say I just call people. That's all I do, Tim.
Dan's like, I'm playing it right now.
No, that's actually, you know what? Let me play while recording, Tim, and I'll also take off my shirt and I'll fall asleep. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking of two quick mobile things, one, I do like that game Noodles, and so I bought the second one. It was like $3 or something for Noodles too. You can play like,
Noodles.
yeah, it's like pipes where you gotta. Here, I'll just show you what it looks like because you'll recognize the type of puzzle that it is right away. Hang on, I'll just pick one. So it's like this type of a map, and there's often. Oh, hang on, get the right angle. Okay, kind of see that.
Okay.
And you have to like rotate the pieces till they're all connected.
Oh, Jesus, that's so many pieces though. Like that's
Yeah, well,
insane.
that's a really big map. There's some smaller ones.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, it's a really fun little game. You can just kind of mindlessly like tap to spin each little piece to try to get them to
Sure.
connect and whatever. And they change color when you have them connected, so it's very satisfying. But anyway, so I played a little bit of that, and then also I did use Nintendo Music app a little bit just to show my kids and see what they thought of it.
Okay.
And at first, they're like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And they were looking at the different Nintendo songs. And after a while, they were like, "Yeah, there's not a lot though." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." You kind of
Oh,
run
there
through the.
isn't.
I mean, there's a good amount there, but a lot of it is also some cool throwback stuff. You can go back and listen to old like F-Zero or whatever, some
Sure.
Super Nintendo. So it's cool for people who like Nintendo. And
Yeah.
if you already subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online, you get access to it for free. So why not? I just don't need another app for it. But it was kind of
Oh.
fun
Well, I think
to
we
put
had
that
that
on.
conversation of like it's cool and like they put in the time presentation wise of it and that's all
Hmm.
neat and everything, but like also just put this all on Spotify and stuff, you know?
Exactly, because I want to listen
So,
to that stuff mixed in with other retro gaming soundtracks, not just
yeah.
Nintendo. But whatever, Nintendo's a little selfish. Hey, let's talk about some stuff that's coming up here in December. Again, the list isn't super impressive or exciting, but it's worth reviewing anyway because we are launching into the final month of 2024. And before we do
Mm.
that, just as a quick reminder, next week, next episode 249, hopefully Kyle will be able to be around too, and the three of us are going to make our predictions for the Game Awards winners. And we'll also be launching our own Game Awards poll. So then that way, all of you who listen and watch on our Discord channel, all you have to do is join there and you can cast your vote there. And then I've got some prizes. Thanks to our buddy Dan Phillips. We can give away a couple of movies.
Ooh,
I'll probably have a couple games to give away too. So I want to do that stuff to
okay.
incentivize people to get involved a little more. But you have to do it. I'm going to make it so you have to do it through Discord. So if you want to join, you got to go to Discord in order to cast your vote.
It's
So we'll get
basically
that
three of
set up.
us just talking in there. It's you, me, and just Gaston talking about Crash
Gaston.
Bandicoot.
That's right. So we need more of you in there. I understand it's hard to kind of shift gears of where you normally have your conversations, but I encourage you to give it a shot. Facebook is, well, it's Facebook. So it's got
Yeah.
its pros and its cons. But also, this is a great way for if we do want to jump on a call to game together, we can also do that a
Yeah.
little more easily. That's something I'd like to do in 2025 is to every once in a while have a, current gen game night where we get on and do something, Mario Kart or whatever, do something all together. But
I mean, maybe if even in the future, this is like pie in the sky sort of stuff, Tim. All right. This idea just came to mind as you were saying that
uh-huh.
there are instances where streamers will sometimes be like, "Hey, we're gonna do a movie night." So like the streamer will essentially start like a call on there, a video call, and share whatever it is. So they're watching a movie with the people that are just in like the
Mm-hmm.
chat. So technically, we could do like live episodes in there, and people could be like watching live. Like that could be a thing, you know. So
I would love to get to that. I think that'd be a lot of
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
So yeah,
and
would
chatting in
love
there
would
too.
love for
So
everyone to join in on the Discord. I'm not the most consistent with using our Facebook group, but I have shifted when I am thinking, oh, I'll post that in the group. I'm now trying to shift that over to, oh, I'll just post that on our Discord channel. Now, this
mm,
week, as you heard early in the episode, has been truly crazy for us. A lot of anniversary
just a little bit,
celebrating
just a
and
little bit.
anniversary. We call it really our anniversary survival day. And then we had an
Hmm.
anniversary celebration day after that, which was much
Sure,
more fun.
sure.
But yeah, and then just Thanksgiving, of course. So like I haven't been
Yeah,
as in tune with stuff on social media, but I do want to be consistent with being on Discord. So all that being said, the next couple weeks are pretty busy. We've got the Game Awards stuff coming up. I don't think we'll do a live reaction to it. That show's just too long. And but what we could do is if we have some specific trailers or announcements of note, we can try to do a little more screen share in the following episode, and we can react
yeah,
to
yeah.
it that way if we want to talk about it that way. So I might do a screen share too here as well. Okay. But for the month of December, what's coming out gaming wise? Speaking of mobile gaming, the free to play version of Animal Crossing Pocket Camp was taken offline this past week.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no longer free to play, but there is a version out now. It's pay to play. It's just, you just purchase it. It's a standalone without the servers and online free to play stuff called
Hmm.
Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete, where you can just experience the mobile
Oh,
version of that
okay.
game. You just buy it for your mobile phone.
Oh, okay.
So
How much is it?
I don't know. It comes out December
Oh,
3rd.
okay. Oh,
So
okay.
I assume
Yeah.
it's $10 if you had to
Okay.
guess. I don't know. Could be more. Knowing Nintendo, it could be 20. I don't know.
$60.
It
Could you
it
imagine?
could say send us your Switch and then we'll give you this mobile game.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, there's this game coming out called Morkel Ragast's Rage. I know it's kind of a silly title, but it is
Rolls right off
a
the tongue.
I know. It is a cool looking game though. Here, you know what I'll do? This one's worth pulling up just because it looks pretty cool. Sometimes there's a game that pops up that uh, I'm like, hey, you know what? This is worth sharing with you. Let me see if I can at least share my
I mean, there's
Steam. Can I
one
share
game in
just
December,
Steam?
Tim. There's one game in December that matters, and I think you and I both know what it is.
So this one looks pretty cool, right? It says it's a action 2D platform. There's a demo for it on Steam. Can you see this
Yeah, yeah.
Steam, the
I
little
like the
video playing
little
on it?
skull main character guy there.
Yeah. Yeah, the art design looks cool. I like some good platforming and action. Like it looks like it's got the whole like dash and lots of different attacks and all that stuff. Just at a glance, that's what it looks like. The
Those
art style's kind of
purpley,
nice.
those purpley environments definitely remind me of Hollow Knight. So
A lot of Hollow Knight vibes. Yep. A lot of
yeah,
black and
like
white and
hair.
purple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
hmm
yeah.
Yeah. So that looks pretty cool. It's not bad. Um, all right, so that comes out on December 4th. And then the next day, there's this little game called Fantasian Neo Dimension. Dan, what is this weird
Yeah.
RPG?
Oh, it's just whatever. It's some throwaway made by some indie, whatever. I
Yeah,
mean,
who cares? But
but you
hey,
know,
it's coming to all platforms after being stuck on mobile.
true. Most notable though, just a little, the head of that little indie developer is I don't know, the father of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Hmm.
So that
Gotcha.
guy, that guy.
That
But yeah,
guy.
I'm so good because like over the years, I've been trying to be like, all right, let me just pull this up on my phone and
Yeah.
somehow like project it on a screen, and it works, but there's always a delay here and there, and it's just like I want to play this so bad, but I don't want to play on my phone. I want it on like a TV or something, and now I don't have to worry about that, Tim. It's coming out, so
It's going to be out on
happening.
all platforms on December 5th, alongside time to get in shape for the holidays. That's what everyone says. Exercise a lot for the holidays.
Well, we just had
Fit
Turkey Day, right? So
Fitness Boxing 3, your personal trainer coming to the Switch. I do think those games sell pretty well. They're just the only one I've ever tried was not Fitness Boxing, but it was that Ring Fit Adventure. That was actually kind of
that
a
one
cool
is fun.
concept.
That one's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Actually,
it's
just
a cool
though
use of that like little circle thing. It's just that's the only
the
thing you could use
resistance
it for. The
ring thing.
resistance
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But I did want to just mention real quick with Fantasian, because it's actually being published by Square, which is really cool
Oh,
because Sakaguchi, like again, it is his own Mistwalker. Um, they've been making a few games over the years, but because Square was like, hey, let's collab on this and get it to consoles and everything, we'll publish it for you. There's actually like Final Fantasy tracks in there. Like you can actually switch out songs that's of the original soundtrack of the game with Final Fantasy tracks,
interesting.
which is
Okay.
really cool. So because Uematsu, the father of Final Fantasy music, actually made the full soundtrack for Fantasian. So he was actually working with Sakaguchi do the
Got it.
OST. So,
Yeah, a
but
lot
yeah,
of
it's just cool that that's
fathers.
in there.
Fathers of Final
Yeah,
Fantasy, father of
sure.
music for Final
A lot of
Fantasy.
Fs, a lot of Fs.
A lot of fathers happening. Um, all right, so that's on December 5th, both of those two games. And then on December 6th, you have Marvel Rivals hitting
Hmm.
just PS5 and Series X as well as PC. I think this one it's got a good amount of hype and anticipation to it for the folks who are in the kind of online competitive space who like Fortnite
Mhm.
and Overwatch and those kind of games.
Yeah.
Um, it's leaning into that pretty strong. And I know I just want to point out that if I'm just listening to us talk, I might be like, wait a minute, you guys just took a crap all over Concord for trying to do this. and they failed. Why is this one okay? Well, there's a few different reasons. One of them is this one didn't cost $400 million to make. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there.
Sure.
But also, like, they were very upfront about what it is from the jump. Like, this is what it is. I'm not trying to trick you. They're not, and also it's free. So like, there's a whole bunch of different pieces to it. It's not exclusive. They didn't invest nearly as much into it, and it's not a, I don't know. It's not like this brand new IP that's the future of a specific hardware platform that they're claiming is going to be the future of this, future of the platform. And then it just arrives with a resounding dud. It just kind of feels like, oh, I know what Marvel Rivals is. I know what Pokemon TCG is. Like, I know what these games are, and I either will try them or I won't.
Well,
So
let's not
that's
act
why.
like superheroes aren't cool anymore because like some people have MCU fatigue, like superheroes are still cool. And I mean, this is literally a Marvel game that's pulling from the stable of, decades of superheroes. So
exactly. Yeah. So, and I do think the game actually looks like this is coming from someone who doesn't even like these kind of online competitive games for the most part. It's not my thing. It does look pretty cool. Like, it just looks like it's got all the fun characters and powers, and it just looks fun.
Unique. Yeah. They have unique play styles.
Yeah.
Per character.
And so I bet for folks who like jumping in there and playing rounds over and over again with their friends, against their friends, whatever, in these types of games, I think they'll have a good time. And from all accounts, it sounds like it plays pretty well. So
yeah,
more power to them. I don't think that I would play it unless my kids all download it and they really want me to try it. Like, okay, maybe, but
sure.
For the most part, I'll let them play it. They can tell me all about it. By the way, I did see that. Speaking of free to play kind of online games that my kids like, that game Dauntless is getting a major update, kind of getting a revamp and a relaunch a little bit. So it's a little bit of Monster Hunter, sort of like a co-op type game, but it's a free to play online game. So Dauntless is pretty cool. It's got a nice style to it, but they're adding a ton of content and they're updating it a bunch. So yeah, Dauntless is getting a little bit of a relaunch.
Running, so that's good.
Yeah, I think they're taking the servers offline for the update, and then they're going to relaunch into this thing called Awakening, Dauntless Awakening. Okay, December 9th is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle coming to Xbox and PC. On a scale of 1 to 10, Dan, what's your personal hype level for this? 1 being couldn't care less if this never came out, 10 being I'm going to play it the moment it's available.
5, like
yeah.
I think to me it looks like that last trailer. It was like, oh, this is really fun, but this is something I'd like want to watch. Because I think we discussed this last week because Kyle was here, I think, and we were kind of talking about it. I was like, this
something
looks
about
like
perspective too.
Yeah, in the first person perspective, I'm not feeling like I want to see Indy. Like, I'm not Indy. Like, I am not Harrison Ford. I'm not Indiana Jones. Like, also, like, I don't understand that concept of like, I'm playing a first person shooter, so I am this character. I'm like, but I'm not. I'm me, and that's a character. I'm playing a video game. Like, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not trying to tease anybody, but
I just think that if it were a lot of shooting, Wolfenstein style, which is the people who made Wolfenstein, so I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, then I'd be like, okay, cool. First person makes sense. Third person works fine too for shooting, by the way. It works great, but first person makes sense. And I just highly doubt there's going to be a ton of shooting. There'll be some, right? You'll probably get a revolver every once in a while or a old school machine gun,
right?
But like the whip, I don't think the whip is a great first person weapon, is it? Maybe it's going to be great.
I mean, you don't see it a lot, but it could be cool.
Could be cool. I don't know.
Be good puzzles. There could be some good puzzles.
I am open to being convinced. I will definitely try it. It's on Game Pass. Why wouldn't I try it? It's a major release. It's by a dev that I really like the work that they do. So, of course, I will give it a shot. I'm just not overly hyped for it. I'm probably also in that 5, maybe 6 range. Just because I think it might be a really fun nostalgic thing of just kind of Indiana Jones and the quips and the music and the set pieces. If it's done well enough, it could be one of those things. I'm like, hey, that was actually a pretty fun, like 7 or 8 out of 10 experience. Like if it's that, that's great. That's great.
Well, I saw that Spielberg and Lucas were actually very deeply involved with the game, and I mean, it is kind of their. That is that. I mean, Spielberg directs all of them, right?
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken. So to have the guy who's been directing all of them, and obviously some of I mean, Indy 4 people are kind of like, but. But still, I mean, I think that's a pretty important element, to have them involved. So.
I think the movie being the dud that it was does not help. I think had the
Sure.
movie been excellent, even if they had decided to recast, and I know that sounds like blasphemy, but like Harrison Ford's an old man, so there's plenty of really excellent leading men today that could, even like a Glenn Powell, who I know is in everything, but someone like him could have been a great younger Indiana Jones and relaunched the franchise. I'm just throwing it out there as like
Yeah.
someone who could have done a great job. But anyway, all that to say, the game's coming out December 9th. I'll give it a whirl. But so far, none of these are like blowing me away. I'm very intrigued by Fantasia Neo Dimension because of the art style. I remember looking at it when it came out. That diorama
The
look of
diorama
everything is
backgrounds.
so pretty and so cool looking. So that is one I will 1,000% give a look when it's on sale.
Sure.
I don't think I'm going to buy it at full price because I think it's like $50, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a mobile game that's kind of being
so I'm not going
to
buy it for 50, but it's still on my radar. And then Indiana Jones is on my radar as well, almost to the same degree. It's just I'm going to have access to it because of Game Pass.
Right.
Now, these next two aren't like day one buys, but I'm intrigued by both. One is revisiting the old PlayStation 1 Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered series comes out. I think it was PlayStation 1, right? Or was that 2? I think it was
I don't remember because I played one of them, but I barely played it. I think I was on I had it on Dreamcast actually. I think it was the first Legacy of Kain.
Okay.
I dabbled a little bit. But.
So yeah, those are coming out December 10th, and then that's on to all platforms. And then Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is also dropping that day. Now, my hype level for that is kind of in check a little bit because the Karate Kid game came out to such like,
sure.
This is not that fun. So that was also very nostalgic and looked cool. And Ninja Turtles has been a little hit or miss this year with their mini games they've released. So, but if this comes out and people are like, this is great, it just hits that nostalgic co-op beat 'em up style. I'm all in.
If it's the same team as the side-scrolling, the new TMNT side-scroll beat 'em up, if it's the same team, then I think we'll be okay.
Like Shredder's Revenge or whatever that one was?
Yeah, because that one was really fun. That one was super fun.
Good. Yeah, that one was really, really good. December 12th has a game that I actually tried the demo of and really enjoyed called The Spirit of the Samurai. It's got this really interesting...
A claymation looking one, right?
Like claymation / realistic look, like... Very intriguing style to it. Very good visuals. The gameplay is, I think it's got its moments. It's got like some good ideas in it and some of the moves you can do and the way you parry and stuff. It's got some really good ideas. Does it deliver on all of it? Maybe not. But I think if you really focused on it and played, like I probably won't do that. But if someone were to really focus on it and learn the system, you probably could have a good time playing through that game. But I've talked about it before, the demo that I played. But that comes out on December 12th. On December 16th, we have this little game called On Your Tail. It is a little anthropomorphic animals, but it's an adventure game, kind of a story. You're trying to like figure out, solve a mystery or whatever. I think there's a lot of people who are looking forward to that one. And then the last one I wanted to highlight, December 17th, is Flint Treasure of Oblivion. It is a tactics RPG with pirates, and it looks really awesome. So
cool.
So those are the main ones that I know of for December. Do you know of any others that I'm missing?
Not a clue. My head is so buried in the sand these past couple of months just because it's like I have everything that I'm needing to catch up on. So
yeah. The good news is for our Game of the Year episodes, which we will probably start recording in about a month from now, I don't think there's really... Indiana Jones is probably the only one that could have any ripple effect in those discussions in terms of any of the categories. It might not. I mean, who knows? If it comes out and it stinks, great. We don't have to worry about it. But like, it's the only one that has, in my opinion, potential to really make us think twice about any of the rankings. Otherwise, most of the major players for this year's Game of the Year debates, I think, are out, except for that one. So I'm with you. I'm trying to just catch up, and I'm trying to at least give everything that I know we'll talk about. I'm trying to give it like, I don't know what a significant amount of time is, but trying to give it like a meaningful amount of time with those major games. Like, all right, did I spend...
a lot of them are long games too, so...
I know. So like for Metaphor, I played it for like 2-3 hours total. That's not really meaningful for that game. I need to play it for probably twice that, 3 times that to kind of really get it.
I would say for that game specifically, because yeah, that beginning is like such a slow burn. It's like I would say 10, maybe even 15 hours to be like, okay, I get what's going on here. Like the first main dungeon, like you have to get through the first main dungeon, I would say, to kind of really get what's going on with that one. That's just my opinion.
I agree. Well, Dan, for headlines, we'll start with the bummer one, and then we'll get to happier ones. This news just broke this week that Shuhei Yoshida, who's been at Sony for 30 years, which, by the way, that's when Sony PlayStation began, pretty much. Yeah. He's been there from the beginning. He is stepping away. And as he begins his 31st year with PlayStation, he started to think, maybe it's time for me to move on. And the company's doing great. I love the PS5. I love the games that are coming out. We have a new generation of management who I respect and admire. And I'm excited for the future. PlayStation's in good hands. And I thought, okay, this is my time. This is all quotes from Shuhei as he's just thinking through, the next step he wants to take in life. And my guess is his step is into retirement, some kind of consultant position with Sony or others, and just enjoying things. I think he seems like the kind of guy who's already kind of done that, like stepped back a bit and just been enjoying things. But now he'll definitely have no more official connection to Sony, at least according to this. As of January, he'll be stepping back. So kind of sad, but also like, well done, man. 30 years.
Yeah, I salute you, Shuhei Yoshida. He actually was the producer on Legend of Dragoon.
Really?
Yeah. Which is that always stuck out in my head because I remember when I first was hearing about Shuhei back during Podcast Beyond. And Shu would actually even be on there sometimes, right? Because he was close with Greg and Colin. So, hearing about him and then kind of just the lines getting crossed and be like, oh, he produced because that's a first party game. So, but yeah, he's always had this like kind of jolliness to him. He always just seemed like somebody who was just like really passionate about the stuff going on there and just about games. Like, he's kind of like, because Phil is like that too, even though like I feel like Phil lately has started to kind of be like, oh, I mean, you got some like kind of shady underlying like a little bit, but Phil definitely seems like a guy who's like, I'm gonna sit down and play some games. Like I need to play some games because like that's just who I am. And Shu's always seemed like that. So yeah, he's always seemed very intricately tied to everything and just very passionate about video games and just PlayStation in general. So
yeah, but he deserves it. Executives seem more like, all right, they've at least played it. Like for all of his weird quirks, good old Reggie from Nintendo, I could tell he actually played some of the Nintendo stuff. Yeah. But he didn't strike me as like a regular gamer. He just knows Nintendo and probably has played a lot of the Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
Phil struck me as someone who actually did game, but maybe not a ton, but like he knew enough. Jim Ryan struck me as someone who's never held a controller in his hand. Like he just had that vibe about him. But on the flip side at Sony, Shuhei struck me as someone who loved games,
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm with you.
But he deserves it. He did his time, quote unquote.
He did his time.
He did his time.
He did his time.
Right off into the sunset.
Well, if you need another place to go spend a ton of money this holiday season, if this past week hasn't been enough for you, Steam for the next few days still has their autumn sale going on. And listen, there's a ton of really good deals. Now, some of them maybe it's not enough of a discount for you to consider. Totally get that. Respect it. But like, for example, Psychonauts 2 is $6.
Oof.
That's crazy. Mad Max,
that's a good deal.
One of the coolest open world games, $2.
Stop it. $2?
$2.
That's insane, dude.
That's
a really steal. That's like robbery.
I know. There's a really fun little strategy game called Northgard that I really enjoyed. It's $3. You can give that one a look. Kingdom Come Deliverance, which the sequel's coming out soon. You can play the original for $3. Nice. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's right up there. It might not be my very favorite, but it might be my favorite. I'd have to really think through all the Assassin's Creed really closely. But I think it's my favorite one. Anyway, it's amazing. $6. You can get that entire experience.
Such a massive game for $6.
It's a huge game for $6.
Yes.
Stuff like City Skylines, the first one, which everyone loves. I know the second one has issues, but the first one is $3. So like some of these deep sales are ridiculous. Darkest Dungeons down to $2 during this sale.
Dude, you could literally buy 60 games for like
I know.
Like the price of, like a game or two. Like
You could buy the modern Tomb Raider trilogy for $10.81, so just under $11. You could get
1081.
yeah, you could because it's for some reason 79% off. I'm not sure why, or maybe that's just because I own part of it. Well, whatever. It's just cheaper. Um, so yeah, listen, there's a lot. Far Cry 5 is down to 6. There's a lot of really high quality, huge games that are absolutely worth a look. So,
Yeah.
the Jedi Fallen Order, the first of um, the recent games from Respawn, is down to 4. And I think Jedi Survivor might be on sale too.
Good deal, dude. Yeah, when it's like literally under $10, like this is $5. It's like, dude, that's like
Yeah.
you might as well like
Jedi Survivor is now 1750. So that's also so you can get both of those together for $22.
That's
So
crazy.
those are just a few of the examples there's a lot of other sales too. Stuff that isn't quite as big of a sale, but there's a little bit off would be stuff like the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is down to 48 instead of 60. So there's some like minor discounts on some more recent games. But if you're curious of what to go look at, you're not sure like what's actually a good deal and which of these games are always getting that same, because some of these games get the same discount it seems every sale. And so that's a valid question. Go to steamdb.info. At least I think that's the right. Yeah, steamdb.info and click on sales on the top. And they give you a really great list of the games that have a new historical low, like Spider-Man Remastered for PC is down to $30. That's a new historical low on Steam for that game. Persona 3 Reloaded is down to 35. That's the lowest it's been. Mass Effect Legendary Edition down to $4.80 for the original.
Wow.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection down to $20. That's the lowest it's ever been. So like it gives you some of those, and there's other ones it'll tell you like, nah, this isn't the lowest. It's been lower before, or this is what it normally goes down to. So yeah, steamdb.info is a nice resource that I recommend. So there you go. Speaking of some Steam games and some PC games, Baldur's Gate 3 has some new features that's going to be adding next year, early next year, as part of its 8th major patch, and that includes crossplay, 12 new subclasses, and a photo mode. So I'm kind of surprised it didn't have a photo mode already. It feels like a game that would have had that already.
Surprised it didn't have crossplay, to be honest, especially with how well it did, and you'd want like the player base to be more connected. Like,
yeah, that's cool that they're adding subclasses too, so they're giving you yet another reason to replay it if you don't have enough already for a game like that. With all the branching paths and decisions and characters, there's so many ways you could re-experience that game. But new subclasses is yet another reason. Devolver continues to be probably the funniest gaming company, both publisher and developer. They're so funny. They actually put out a video called the 15th Annual Devolver Delayed Awards 2024. So, and during this award show, they announced 3 game delays. Like that, instead of awards, they were announcing delays. It was so good.
So they were like applauding themselves and awarding
and it
themselves.
Actually looks like an award show with golden letters and stuff. Like,
so these are actual delays.
Yeah, they delayed 3 of their games that were just listed as 2024. They didn't have release dates yet. They just said now they're 2025. And so that's Stick It to the Stick Man, Skate Story, and Baby Steps, which was that ridiculous one of the guy walking, the physics-based one. Yeah. But they're all delayed into next year.
But that's like an endearing way to do that, because it's kind of like, hey, there's no real date for this. People are excited. There's no date. Oh, look, now we're slipping into 2025. Like, clearly this is like now going to most likely be so like you make like a silly spectacle of it. I think that's actually pretty genius. I think that's genius.
The 5th, but also the fact that it's, think about it for a second. It's the Devolver Delayed Awards 2024, but then how could it be the 15th annual? Like, it doesn't make, none of it makes sense. The title of it is also very silly and fun.
Tim, we've had 14 of these. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've had 14 of these.
I didn't realize that. All right, so Pal World is getting another major update in December, and they're saying this new island they're going to introduce is about 6 times larger than the last island they added. Not the original, but like they added an island called Sakurajima, and that was the last island they added. And this one's about 6 times that size that they're adding, and it's supposed to be hitting in December. So if you're still playing Pal World or want to go back into it, a lot more content is about to hit. Hey, they're not letting that lawsuit hold them down.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
saying? I was gonna say, like, they're just cranking away, but like they're also in court with Nintendo, so or
Yeah.
about to be in court. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
it's actually.
I'm sure there'll be
happening.
a settlement because they've got so much freaking money now. There'll be a settlement, I think, for
Sure.
those. Probably some kind of settlement and an agreement to pay some sort of licensing fee to Nintendo for whatever it is
Mm.
they have these patents for. Again, it's not about the design, which is what is crazy about all this because all of us
Right.
see it and we think it's all about, wow, you just ripped off the look and feel.
Sure.
It's just about because Nintendo apparently also kind of ripped off a lot of that stuff. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Lies of P is getting, listen, those developers are hard at work. They've got major DLC. They're targeting the first quarter of 2025 to release it. They don't have any details on exactly what it is yet to share with us, but new story DLC, new content, new enemies, all that kind of stuff. So that's supposed to hit in early 2025. They're also hard at work on the sequel to Lies of P, whatever that's going to be called. Lies of D. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be called.
Lies of PP.
Lies of PP. Oh.
Double the P, Tim. Double the P, double the
What if
fun.
they just call it the P of lies? There's lots of options here,
Yeah,
They could just switch it.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, and there's so many possibilities. And they have a new IP that they're working on, Round 8 Studio, which is the team behind these games. Publisher NeoWiz are the ones who kind of made these announcements. They're also working, the same studio. They're doing DLC, they're doing the sequel.
Jeez.
And they are working on a brand new IP that is described as a survival horror project set in a sci-fi world.
Okay.
So based on what we saw with Lies of P, their creativity, their visual acumen, their ability to create really good game systems that work and feel good. Yeah. All right, let's see what you do.
That's interesting.
Survival horror project, especially if they kind of lean away from making it like Bloodborne or Dark Souls. Like if they do a different genre, a different route, that'll make me even more impressed, Yeah. Because it'd be a little safer just to stick with what works. But what if they really try something different? That'd be cool.
Well, I'm curious because survival horror, I automatically go to the survival horror games that I know. So that you're running around and dealing with, like gun type weapons and scarce ammunition,
especially sci-fi, right? I'm gonna think of guns.
Yeah, and scarce ammunition. So
yep. So we'll see what comes of that. And last but not least, as far as announcements that we'll cover at least, and you've probably seen this, Dan. I just noticed it. I think it was yesterday.
I meant to share this with you guys a couple days ago, so that was my bad. Okay. I completely forgot.
All right, so there's this new game that has been announced. It's called The Light of Motiram or Motiram. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is being developed by Polaris Quests. Sounds like a normal enough company. Most of us have never heard of it. That's because it's a subsidiary of Tencent Games.
Oh, shocker.
Big shocker.
Yeah, I'm so shocked.
They announced this game. We have to real quick just take a look. You've got to hear. And the reason I have my headphone in too. Tell me when you can see this.
Can we put up an image here?
I'm just gonna play the trailer real quick for you.
Oh, I didn't know there was a trailer.
Yes, let me. I'll try to keep the volume not too loud. Tell me if it's too loud. Listen to the music too.
Dude, stop it.
All right, so if
also a little bit of Destiny.
It's like a post-apocalyptic landscape with lots of high-tech stuff, scanning happening. Now there's some sort of big robotic being, but lots of very lush ferns and everything.
A lot of blue light sci-fi stuff going on.
And now you've got a lot of vines growing over very metallic structures. This looks exactly like Horizon, and it's not even close. Like
you also got the little Destiny robot guy, right?
Little Destiny robot guy, yep. And you've got the desert landscape over there. Okay, let me fast forward a little bit so you can see some of the characters.
Oh my god, it's a 7-minute long trailer. Holy crap!
But look at the main character. Hang on, it's a female main character. She's got native-looking headdress with feathers. She glides. There's even red bushes to hide in, like the red tall grass. And let's look at some of the enemies that she's going to be fighting.
Now, you know what's going to be sad though, Tim, is people are going to be comparing this and they're going to think this is better because the main character is cuter. How much you want to bet?
True. That's
How much you want to bet?
Now, some of this gliding does look kind of, don't get me wrong, some of this looks pretty fun.
Oh, she's like building oh, that's actually kind of cool. Oh, look at that adorable thing right there.
I know.
Yeah, right here she's got like long red hair, like.
Okay, but here's a combat, right? Oh, look at this. Now, a little monster huntery, right? Now you got different weapons. But look at even the design of this robot looks just like Horizon.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
I saw a side by side of showing the specific it's ridiculous.
Now, let me show you something here. So I'm not going to show you this. They released 16 minutes of gameplay on the Gamatsu channel. We're not going to watch all this, but I was curious. Like, okay, so we saw what looks like a Horizon ripoff, right? This just being made in Asia somewhere. Like, okay, it is what it is. But then they described it as a survival game as well, and I was like, what? How? So
the ladder building, right? So.
Watch the opening of this gameplay here a little bit. Like, she doesn't have much armor on. You're actually building your house. You're crafting. You like putting up walls, Valheim style.
Yeah.
And we won't watch all of it, but like the person's clearly playing and they're upgrading. They got a crafting table.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Horizon survival mode. You know what I mean? A little bit.
Yeah. It's the Horizon online game, Tim.
Farming. Look, you're doing farming. You're planting stuff. And then, of course, as you progress in the game, now she's got better armor.
I wonder if this is like, okay, so it's
real
a
quick.
ripoff.
Go back. Look back real quick. On the right here. See those creatures? I think there's elements of Pal World that are in this too.
Okay. So I was literally about to say, like, is this like a Pal World situation where they're just
I think it's Pal World and Horizon smashed together. But
right, so there's like not much of a story. It's just more about the survival, but they have like the coding of like Horizon over it.
Could be, because if you look at the launch trailer, reveal trailer, it showed more cutscenes and characters interacting, so it looks more Horizon like, where it's more of a story. But when you watch the gameplay, it seems much more like, nope, go survive, and then over time you upgrade things, and you go from stick to rock to flint to iron, whatever the upgrades are, right? And I assume you get to craft all this stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
You actually build.
Would assume so, yeah.
And like, she's putting like the roof pieces on here.
Okay. That's giving me Valheim vibes right there.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of on board with this, but
I know. So this is why I wanted to show this to you and screen share it, so for us to look at it together. There's two things. My first reaction is, dumb, what a ripoff. Why you got to rip off Horizon? And then when I actually watched it, I was like, all right, I kind of want to try it. Like,
I mean, I'm a sucker for good building, so if you give me
good
building mechanics.
And the environments actually look pretty good. Like,
there's NPCs there,
so look good. All right, let's just see this. Look at the red grass where you can go hide if
she's
you want.
hunting. Okay. Yeah, that's a bad guy. Oh, okay.
There's numbers that pop up.
There are numbers. Numbers confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious about, like, if it is just like Pal World, where there's not really much of a story, or if there is more a story but heavy survival elements too. So that's what I'm mainly curious
clearly about. Has Horizon inspirations with the world, the design, her armor. Oh, look, here's your mount.
Dude, that thing just teleported out of nowhere. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And you've got all your enemies. I mean, instead of real animals, it looks like it's going to be mech animals that you are either fighting or befriending and getting to work back at your Pal World base.
Right, yeah. Having them do stuff for you,
Yeah, exactly. So we won't keep watching it. I do encourage you to go watch it. There's on the Gamatsu channel. You can watch 16 minutes of gameplay. On multiple channels, you can watch the reveal trailer. But anyway, thought I'd share that with you and get your thoughts. It sounds like you're on the same page as I am, or like, I'll give it a look. Like,
I mean, have they specified if it's like free to play at all or anything like that, or have they even like? Wonder if they've even mentioned, like, if they're shooting for like this being free to play, or is this going to be like a game that you pay for? Or?
It is currently listed as free, but that's on Steam, where they don't even have the release date yet. So that could change.
Okay.
I'm gonna add it to my wish list. So there you go.
There you go, Tim. Now you'll be the first to know.
Yeah. Developer Polaris Quest. Yeah.
Like if you look at that image, so like the cover art of, what was it, the first Horizon?
Yeah.
Like with like the cover art of this, it's like her like in the corner on a cliff looking over at the vistas. Like, it's literally like the same thing.
The key art, like the cover is, it is a Horizon game.
Like,
She's got a
it's
bow and
just
arrow. She's
insane.
got like feather armor. She's looking at giant mechanical beasts. Like
Yeah,
some of the beasts they feature are everything from giant mammoths and monkeys to dinosaurs to bugs, but everything's mechanical and has the same glowy parts that the Horizon creatures do. So, but I don't
crazy.
know, did what's the team that did Horizon again? Um,
Oh, Guerrilla Games.
yeah, did Guerrilla Games like did they patent mechanical monsters in game? You know what I mean? Like,
If
can
they were
they?
Nintendo, then they would have. But I mean, if they were smart like Nintendo,
Yeah. So,
I
anyways,
mean,
no release date or release window for this yet, but uh, really interesting because my first thought was to shrug it off as this is stupid. This is just a ripoff. Who cares? But just like you, as I watched it, I was like, well, I kind of want to try it because I like a
it
certain
is
good survival game. I like building houses, and it looks fun. I don't know. Maybe
it
it's
is a
not.
ripoff though.
It's
Actually,
it's
this meme's pretty
absolutely a
funny. I'm
ripoff.
just gonna send that to you real quick, but you just
It's
pretty
absolutely a
insane.
ripoff. Oh my gosh, that's the two side by side. Oh
But
my
then
gosh,
like,
it's so similar.
but Toby Maguire with the glasses
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
them
yeah,
off.
yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Dude, it's like the exact same picture.
Yeah,
It's the same.
it's the same.
If you had Pam from The Office,
Yeah,
it's the same picture.
it's the same picture.
It's the same picture. Oh man. Anyway, all right. So that's it for headlines. And then Dan, what I thought we could do real quick, just as we're getting towards the end of 2024, sometimes I feel a little nostalgic around the holiday times. I thought I'd real quick. We don't have to spend a lot of time. We don't go through the entire magazine, but I wanted to look at an old issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly together. And I thought, hey, let's just look at the one that was the month of November from 30 years ago. Let's just go back to
A
1994.
long time ago, Tim.
It's a long time ago. This was when I was, just getting started into middle school age. Certainly into gaming. Had my Super Nintendo by that point. But of course did not have. I think I had a Game Boy. Those were my main kind of gaming options that I had. So let's take a look at this together. There's this website called archive.org, which archives all kinds of stuff. Most of you are
That
probably familiar
Doom
with it.
guy.
So here's the cover for
A
the
Mortal Kombat
November.
3.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at
Dude.
dude. These covers get me so pumped up.
Yeah,
But
it's this.
the cover, of course, has Sega's 32X Blaster Doom. So there you go.
What do we have?
So first of all, check
Um,
out this ad. First, you have a army of kids they paid to stand there with their fists up, and they put Mickey Mouse fists on all of them
sure.
for Mickey Mania, which is not something that I recall playing. Um, but
Yeah, I've never played
it
that
looks
one
like it hit
specific.
the main platforms: Super Nintendo, Genesis, and Sega CD.
Multi-platform.
Yeah, multi-platform. Some of the ads will just kind of fly by, but some of them are funny because it's just a blast from the past as you see like the
Oh.
Wolverine
So I like the way
adamantium
this actually
raid.
flips like a page, though. I actually like that a lot.
Dude, I went down a rabbit hole looking at these the other day and I was looking at a
Dude.
bunch of old issues. I was like, this is so fun. Here's a
Dude,
Donkey
Donkey
Kong
Kong.
Country ad. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
You
I
won't
love
believe it either.
I love down here where the saying was play it loud,
Play it
which
loud.
I don't remember that, but it feels familiar.
Sure.
One of the things I want to point out to you too, you'll notice this, a 16-bit game that looks like 32-bit. I forgot how big of a deal the bit
Oh
numbers
yeah.
was. And
Oh
when we
yeah.
get to the review section, I want you to look at like when they describe the game, you'll see like the bits is a really important thing
Oh
back
yeah.
then.
That's
Um,
that so like the teraflops as we came into this generation, like that was the modern day
that's
like
right.
bits argument. Like
Bits were the thing. Now, Dan, look, you have to kind of look sideways
oh
because I can't rotate. Look at this ad though on
yeah.
the right. So this is for Final Fantasy 3, of course, 6. Um,
Dude,
but
that
there's a
art is
picture
sick.
of it's so cool. There's all these Final Fantasy creepy monsters, and then there's little Mog or a Moogle, but probably Mog,
Mm-hmm.
saying it
Probably
doesn't
Mog.
seem fair, does it?
Yeah.
And you go to the next page, and it's the final part of the ad with all their
Uh
dead bodies, and then it's the same little guy that says, "Who says life is fair?" And then they have a little
yeah.
description of the wait is over. Final Fantasy 3 is here, and it's fair to say that it'll blow you out of your shorts.
Sure. Yeah. It probably
And then
did.
again, the critics of EGM, or yeah, the critics of EGM report this huge 24 meg cart boasts some of the most amazing graphics ever. So they talk about even like the size of the cart. It's 24
Yeah.
megs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my god. That's so
but I
many
love that. I
megabytes.
love that ad though. Like
Oh
side
yeah.
by side, that's just so cool.
I do like that.
Yeah,
That's some cool art.
it's really
I've
cool
never seen
artwork.
that.
Yeah. Double Dragon, of course, using some. This was from the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
So this is the movie ad. Yeah. Blockbuster ad.
Oh my
Can't go wrong with
god,
that.
dude!
Yeah.
A Blockbuster ad.
Yeah.
God damn.
Attempt it, curse it, go with it, beat it, master it, conquer it, bored with it, go to Blockbuster and rent the hottest new game. And then it's a good ad. Like, makes sense. But
that's crazy.
this is a game I've never heard of. Power Instinct.
Atlas?
An Atlas game. It's a fighting game called Power Instinct, and the graphics look awful.
The art actually of that. Look at that guy's face. Like that.
It looks
that guy's face is pretty rough.
Both of them are bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you got Mortal Kombat there on the left, so it's almost like they're rubbing it in Power Instinct's face.
This is early '90s Atlas. They didn't know what they were doing yet. You know.
No, they didn't. No.
Got some coupons like for Lord of the Rings on Super Nintendo for $5 off, which is nice.
That's wild.
Shining Force 2 ad. Now, this is a blind spot for me, the Shining Force games. I've never really gotten into them, but I know that they are beloved RPGs for Sega fans, but I never really got into them.
Well, that and Phantasy Star.
Phantasy Star, yeah.
Sci-fi RPG.
Keep flipping through here. Oh, let's go back here. The review. So their game of the month was Donkey Kong Country.
Hell yeah.
And they give it the genre of action. The release is out now. Level count, 120 plus, and then 32 meg.
Thank God it was 32. If it was 30, Tim, I wouldn't even have bought it.
So it got 110 and 3 9s from their reviewers.
Yeah. Also action though. Like, I mean, come on.
Action? Yeah. Look at this Breath of Fire ad.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's like a comic book ad, but it's got that classic shot of him reaching his hand towards the camera. Yeah, the cover art. So it's pretty cool. And they review a couple other games like The Lion King on Super Nintendo. Shaq Fu getting very mid reviews.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Pac-Man 2 got pretty solid reviews. Yeah. I think Lion King is more nostalgic now for people.
Oh yeah, brutal. It's a brutal game, but yeah, it's definitely this nostalgia for it for sure.
Yeah, never heard of Obidus either.
Yeah, that's not ringing a bell at all.
It looks like some kind of RPG, but
it looks like one of those first-person dungeon crawling RPGs, which I personally don't care
for. Made by
but...
Bulletproof Software, and I love how they put their address on there too. You know what I mean? Like that's hilarious to me.
I guess they're not that bulletproof, Tim, because they're not around anymore.
Yeah, not bulletproof. Bubsy 2 ad. Other games reviewed: Boogerman, Virtual Bart, and Animaniacs. Keep on rolling. Shaq Fu ad.
Shaq Fu. Oh my God, that's going hard. Hold on, flip back real for a second.
It is going pretty hard.
That whole ad here is like
even the FU in the middle.
Yeah. Jeez. It's going way too aggressive.
Yeah. He wears size 22 EEE shoes on his feet. His opponents usually wear them on their face. There you go.
Got him.
Yeah. Mickey Mania got great reviews. That's what we saw an ad for at the beginning. It's a game that I don't know anything about. I can't think of it. King of Fighters 94, Burning Soldier, Alien vs. Predator, Burn Cycle, and Sonic Triple Double. I don't know what Mad Dog 2 is, but it's a Sega CD game that used like FMV, it looks like.
Sure. I think it had hold on, go back for a second.
Yeah.
It has a little picture of a gun. I think it's one of those
it's a game gun
games. Yeah, it's got one of the guns, yeah. You'd fire at the screen like at the arcade.
So it's an arcade. Yeah.
There
you go.
Yeah, CD shooting game. Interesting.
Then there was NCAA football before it was made by Electronic Arts. This was made by Mindscape, and it's a side-scrolling one, a little bit more like the Tecmo Bowl games. Before EA took over those games. This is interesting. I'm gonna zoom in on this one. Let's see here. Okay, so top 10 sequels that didn't work, and so they list Strider Returns, Afterburner 3, Double Dragon 5, Golden Axe 3, Final Fight 2. I liked Final Fight 2. Rolling Thunder 3, Blaster Master 2, Wing Commander 2, Bubsy 2. I agree with that. Didn't like that one. And then Wanderer from Ease 3.
Wonder if that's one of the East games?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And then you got Editor's Top 10 and Reader's Top 10. So readers love the Mortal Kombat games. Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Eternal Champions, ActRaiser 2, which I actually didn't like all that much. So a lot of fighting fans. Mortal Kombat,
Yeah,
Street Fighter,
apparently. Jeez.
and then Donkey Kong, and then Super Street Fighter. They did not do a good job of separating those out. Like, hey, these are the same. Let's get some other games on here.
That's really weird.
And then Editor's Top 10, Donkey Kong Country, Demon's Crest, really cool game if you've never played that before. Star Control 2, no idea what that is. Super Return of the Jedi, nice. So I just thought that was kind of cool to see, like, their top 10s and stuff like that.
I'm confused by the reader's top 10. Why is Mortal Kombat like on there multiple times?
Yeah,
that's confusing.
It's a good question. Yeah.
Oh, it says SNES. Oh, it's different versions. SNES, arcade,
arcade, Genesis.
That's silly though. Like
same thing with Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo arcade, and then Super Street Fighter 2 just for SNES. Like,
I'm also surprised SNES version is at the top because that's the one that didn't have blood. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the Super Nintendo was just the hot system that everyone was playing. Yeah. All right. Let's keep on rolling here. Babbage's, yep. Then of course Quarterman, who had all kinds of different gossip, but I read through them. There wasn't anything too major. Although they are talking about PlayStation, how they're just learning about what's happening with Sony.
Okay.
Never heard of Fighters history. Sega set to give Nintendo a Knuckles sandwich, huh? With Knuckles, get it?
Dude, Knuckles looks kind of weird there.
He looks very weird.
He looks a little strange.
I agree. I don't know what that is. We're going to keep rolling.
Robotrack. Oh, Robotrack.
So check this out. First look at Nintendo's new 32-bit virtual reality system. So this was the Virtual Boy. And they were getting like a first look into it about how it has its roots in the military and how it's, the technology is going to.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But this, by the way, this little picture, not what it's going to look like. It's not going to look like these things.
Not at all. Not even close.
If it had, maybe it would have done well, but it did not look like
that. Yeah.
Gex? I actually thought Gex wasn't until PlayStation. Crystal Dynamics. Look at that.
Oh, shit. So this must have been second CD then, right?
That was 3DO.
Or 3. Oh my God. I forgot about the 3DO. Holy crap.
3DO. Yep.
What about that thing? Ooh, Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man. Animated series. Top 25 markets. Look what station that it's on by city.
That's insane.
Samurai Showdown 2. Samurai Showdown.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep on. Lunar. I never played Lunar.
Oh, hey. Well, hey, we're getting the remasters or remakes.
Oh, nice.
And the remakes of them. So.
Okay, keep on moving here. What is this one? I don't even know what that is. What's that say?
Is that Voss? Like, I don't know what that letter is. Awesome. See, alien. Yeah, I can't actually.
It's VAY. Vey.
Vey. Oy vey.
Oy vey. Pitfall. Activision tried to bring Pitfall back. Spoiler alert: It didn't work. It didn't work. People still didn't care.
Hold on, back up. Hold on, back up. There's a G Gundam game, like specifically G Gundam. Dude, that's
so. This is an international fighting game. Bandai of Japan. So it was it was a Japanese game.
So I played the Gundam Wing. I've played the Gundam Wing.
It's just a straight up fighting game. Here. Look at that. That's
this must have been like around. This must have been like similar to that Gundam Wing one that I played, which was actually pretty sick.
Then you get into some more international games. Mobile Warrior Gundam, Dragon Quest 6 being previewed.
Ooh, cool.
Out of Japan, that's awesome. Double Dragon, Gao Kaiser, never heard of it. A Neo Geo game.
It's a fighting game, which obviously nobody knows.
Dizemon.
Like a music game? Like what is
vertical scrolling shooter?
Huh.
Not sure. It's like a game. You like design it.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's pretty wild for back then.
You can like do your own music in Mode 7. Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah. Never heard of those. Ghost Rush, Vajra 2. So this is all like international. It's cool that they spent this many pages on international stuff.
Yeah. Though. Mist. Look at
Mist. Mist. Yep. Race driving.
Gee, I wonder what that's about.
Super Tetris 3. I think this is in the Tetris collection, by the way.
Lupin the Third. Oh, I didn't know there was a Lupin game. Wait.
Konami mind disinfecting video games cuts through boredom for the Contra hardcore game. That is funny.
I'm so confused right now. Rid's brain of mold and mildew.
I don't understand. 32 bladder loosening ounces. What the heck?
What are they trying to tell us, Tim?
I don't know.
Oh, Konami.
Maybe I should have played check. Oh, that's on the other side of it.
But that is that a different ad though?
Is it supposed to be like making it appealing that your mind is getting chewed up? I don't know. I don't understand it.
I'm confused. I'm overall very confused.
Yeah, some of these might fold out too, by the way.
Okay,
The
it
way
is
I'm,
Konami because right there it says Konami. So that whole it was like
yeah,
four-page ad for whatever
yeah,
this thing is.
crazy. On more
Also,
Konami. Okay, so Batman and Robin. Never heard of
Snatcher.
Snatcher. Yikes.
Snatcher, I hardly know her.
Nice.
Ridge
All right.
Racer.
Ridge Racer. All right, so tricks. That's one of the things I love about magazines
Oh,
too, is they would do like all these kind of tricks and
yes, the
codes.
codes and
The
stuff. Yeah.
trick of the month. Okay, so Blackthorn, such a freaking cool game. A lot of people have never
Hmm.
played it, but it's
Oh,
Blizzard. It's a Blizzard game.
all right.
Yeah.
Dude, look at
Um,
that controller down there. What an awesome controller from STD. Dude, what
STD.
is that thing? What is that? There's like a screen on it.
It's the SN Pro Pad or SG Pro Pad 6.
I need to Google this.
Look
SG Pro Pad.
at the cheat sheet for Tetris 2. This is how to jump to different levels. That is so great. I love that. Super Bomberman 2, Breath of Fire. Wait, what was the Breath of Fire one? This is
What?
Give the Magician. Let's see.
Also, just like more hints because there's probably no codes in that. It's an RPG, so.
Oh, so this is just like an Easter egg to see Chun-Li in Breath of Fire.
Oh, oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Balls. Balls out.
Oh,
Doom.
Doom on the Jaguar.
Yeah. Oh my
Like,
god, I forgot about the Jaguar too. Holy crap.
Yep. Yep.
Beware.
Enix. Before it was Square Enix.
Yeah.
Brain
Yeah.
Lord. Huh. Never heard of that either.
Beware. Brain Lord.
I'm gonna keep on rolling. A bunch of more codes and tricks. Man, these magazines were just like gold mines back in the day.
I need more
Like
for
keep in
Power
mind,
Rangers, dude.
you didn't have like internet. You had to either call and
Yeah.
pay like by minute, or you had to just look for the next month's magazine and hope they had the trick that you wanted for the game that you had.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, Indiana Jones. Look at
Indiana
that.
Jones. Yep.
Should
Yep.
just remade this one.
Look at that. And 30 years later, here we go again. You know,
Yeah, there we go.
are you up to wearing the hat? I don't know. I'll find out in
Yeah.
like a week and a half, I guess.
Find out in first person.
Radical Rex from Activision. Viewpoint. So Sega Genesis, 16 megs of awesome power. All about the megs, man.
Yes. We've always been the same, Tim. It's always just been about the megs and the flops and
Yep.
the
Yep.
K's and jeez.
So this is them previewing games that are being announced. So this was the only way really to find out about what's coming up soon. You can put on your Christmas list for next year, whatever. Like this is what you're
Yep,
finding
yep.
out. True Lies, Wolverine, Rayman from
Ooh.
Atari. I didn't realize Atari originated Rayman. Huh.
Oh,
Crystal Dynamics doing Cyber Clash. Biker Mice from Mars. Shaq Fu
Shaq,
coming to Genesis. Okay.
Genesis. Super Nintendo had that exclusivity.
Yeah, sure did.
That Shaq
I
food.
remember Zero. I think they just re-released this on something like as a
The
classic.
Kamikaze Squirrel.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sunsoft.
Sunsoft. Wow.
hmm Power Rangers
Sega.
again. Everything old is new again, right? Because we got Power
Oh yeah.
Rangers and Indiana Jones both coming out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Beavis and Butthead the game.
Sonic and Knuckles. Nice.
Okay, so then they did a feature on Sonic and Knuckles. That's cool. They did the map. Remember the maps?
Dude, look at
Look
that
at this
art.
stuff.
Yeah, look at that. That's so cool.
It's crazy. And they like they would take screenshots and like piece them together for them
Yeah.
for these guides and for these magazines. That is so funny. Paws of Fury. Never
Huh.
played it. Never even heard of it actually. Bomberman
Super
2
Adventure Island 2.
and Bomberman 2. Making of Mickey Mania. Okay, so this is their feature. They're talking about the making of this Mickey game. Oh man.
Links.
Golf game. Great Balls of Fire. Look at this. What is this? Okay, so this is game authoring tools called Gameware,
Okay.
graphics software for game development. Interesting. That's not a good showcase though.
Man, like it's actually kind of wild that even that far back they just had software you could have to try to make games.
But you had
that
to
was
call
even
this
the
number to
thing.
get it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. With a
Super
Super
Link.
Link, yes, you could play
Dude,
up to 5 players on Super Nintendo. That's
before the
awesome.
multi-tap. Yeah, before the multi-tap.
Okay, and so on the left here, we've had this the European Computer Trade Show report. So they were talking about how they went there, and that they're reporting real quick on these games with quick snapshots of stuff like Pac-Man, Bloodshot, FIFA, Lion King, Urban Strike,
Oh my
Flintstones.
God, Urban Strike, dude. Did you ever play
The
those Urban
helicopter
Strike?
games. Those are
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
Jungle Strike,
Yes. Yeah.
dude. Those are so sick.
I
Oh
love those
man,
kind of I love those helicopter games. Those are
they were
super
so
fun.
hard. They were so
So
hard.
hard. You died so fast. Yeah. I love
So
those
difficult.
games. Yep. Um all right, a lot of ads. You have to sell the ads, otherwise how else are
Oh,
you
of
gonna
course, absolutely. Jama,
what is
Jama.
JAMA? It's the 32nd annual Japanese Amusement Machinery Manufacturers Association.
Save the Jama for your mama,
Look at
Tim.
this line. There was a lot to JAMA about. Mm.
God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it. God
I knew
damn it.
you'd like that one. Oh, this is a great ad for the Lion King. Look at that.
There we go,
That's
the Lion King. Yep,
throwback.
yep. 30, or sorry, 24 meg.
24
24
meg.
meg. Yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the meg count.
Those megs.
San Antonio AMOA Expo. Dang, man.
What's happening there?
These magazines, like, oh yeah, he got
What
milk
is
coming out of his
what
nose. Is it because he's
got
laughing so hard?
panic? I guess got panic. Like I don't know if you're panicking. Why are you laughing? Like
I don't get it. But look at all like they're fitting so much content into
I
all these
know.
pages. It's crazy. I'll look at a few more and then we'll get out of here. Oh, I liked Super Punch Out. That was cool.
Oh, is that what? Yeah. Yep. Super. Oh, the 32X.
Here's the special feature on Doom. This is the 32X version, right?
Yeah, because it's got a bit of 3D-ness to it, right?
Yeah. Weird. It's interesting though. And then Star Wars Arcade. That's
Yeah.
cool. Pac-Man. Virtual Racing. These are like little guides, I guess. I can't tell what it is, but the captions are so strange.
And blow up. There's just such little little blurbs beside all of it.
Yeah, it's very strange.
The big forest.
I know. Cosmic Carnage. Metalhead. Oh my gosh,
Clay
what is
Fighter.
that? Oh, Clay Fighter 2. This is Clay Fighter
Fighter
2.
2. Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, oh my god. That's supposed to be I think that's they're ripping the Terminator 2, right?
That's absolutely what it is.
Yep. Yeah, he's on the bike.
And on the chain going into the lava. Yeah.
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 Awesome.
Some Acclaim. There's Bassmasters and wrestling and football. Yeah. Acclaim was, man, they were the real deal back in the day.
Yeah. What is it?
Sunday night football, ESPN National Hockey Night. I don't care about any hockey until NHL 94, I think it was. I love that one. Man, so much content. Like you could sit there on the toilet for hours and read this thing back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we have our phones now. We do that on our phones.
That's exactly it, man. NBA Jam on Game Boy.
There we go. There we go.
On Game Boy as well. And by the way, the feature, we're just looking at ads. There's NHL 95. It's almost hard to see the difference between the ads and the what they're featuring sometimes too.
Sure.
Like, okay, so a lot of hockey stuff from NHL 95. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Tiny Toons. Oh, okay. So these are like a bunch of sports games. Madden 95. Yeah. All right. So sports EA was doing their thing. They just didn't have the NCAA one yet. They had FIFA Soccer. Yeah. Dang.
That angle is interesting.
Yeah. WWF Raw. Yeah. Raw is War. Super NES.
Club.
This is cool that they listed the things, but they're not the right images for each one. So like this is not what the Game Boy one looked like. No.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah, because it's color.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Though.
Acclaim was doing it, man. They had the licenses. Yeah, they were crushing it. NBA Live 95. I played that game. Rap Jam. What the heck? Oh my word! You can't make this anymore. Whatever that is. Okay, so Donkey Kong Country, a guide. Yes. Oh, this is so cool.
Dude, it's breaking down the barrels
And the
all like
icons.
the
Here's all the icons.
yeah.
Here's the tokens, the barrel types. Oh, this is so cool. And then they give you a little guide to like how to fight Neki the Vulture or Big Zinger. Yeah, dude,
It's wild.
that is awesome.
Now you just watch a video,
Okay,
Tim.
so
You just
the good, without a doubt, this is the best game the Super NES has ever seen. The bad, excuse me, the what? Not in this game.
oh
And the ugly, any other game after playing this masterpiece.
oh damn son. Sorry, Bubsy, get your
Someone's
shit out
uncle
of here.
worked at Nintendo. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's the whole
Oh,
map of
dude.
the
Yeah,
underwater
it's just the
level.
whole thing. Yeah. That's literally just like, yeah, it's just like, well, here's the whole level. You know exactly what you're doing. Like,
And it's guiding you to go through the secret wall. Remember that? Going through the
mm-hmm.
secret wall. Oh,
Holy crap,
dude,
dude.
this
That's
is
wild.
this is like a full guide.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, a couple levels there, but still, like, it's
And
just like
here's a bunch of
full
Clay
out the
Fighter 2 stuff.
yeah.
Yogi
Yogi
Bear.
Bear. What?
I don't know what a lot of this is.
It's also just goes so all over the place too. It kind of
And then they
like
jump to another guide for Adam's Family Values
Adam's
game.
Family Values. Like, I didn't even know there was an Adam's
In-depth
Family Value
guide.
games.
Incredible Hulk
Hulk.
game.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Cool.
Level 2. Barbie's Vacation Adventure.
What?
Mighty Max. They have guides for all this stuff.
Mighty Max,
Guts.
Oh my god, the tick.
Dude, there's Blackthorn. This game rules. You're just an absolute like jacked hero for no reason. And
Yeah,
it's just
that looks
a
like a very
side-scrolling
cliche, like 80s.
Oh
like
yeah. It's funny, it's by Interplay, but I know it's Blizzard owns the IP now.
he's here to take out the trash.
Echo. I remember
is-
Echo, the
It's
dolphin.
the second one, right? Tides of Time.
I think so. Yeah. Lion King.
Images.
Dang.
Oh, that was probably really helpful for back then.
Yeah, no kidding. It really walks you through it.
That game's hard.
The game is hard. Oh, Zero, the Kamikaze Squirrel Guide.
Yes.
The Page Master. Dude, they have guides for like everything. I'm going to jump way ahead here towards the end. Let's see. Does it keep doing guides or does it get to some other stuff? Okay, lifestyles. Oh, that's cool. So it goes into like gaming culture stuff. Yeah, it goes into gaming
X-Men.
culture type stuff. Comics, marketplace, advertiser index. Okay, then it gets into it just almost like a concordance there at the end. Dang, man.
New video game at lower price than you. Oh, dude. Oh my god, that dude. Memory unlocked. I remember like Funko. Did you ever have a Funko Land near you?
No, but I've been to one when I would to visit someone else. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. And they would have like the newspaper of like all the games and like what the prices were and the trade value. They'd have to print out a new issue whenever the values like changed and prices and stuff changed. So like you'd run in there and like as a kid, like almost like reading a newspaper, but it's like what is this game? Like what is this game worth? Maybe I could trade this in towards something else. Like it was that's what like this page reminded me of. I don't know if that's what those are there. There's like crazy. Prices on them, but
New World. Like this is ads from like local businesses and stuff that want you to
like what is that? Sega Genesis, Super NES.
This is just advertising games they sell. So go to Masco's World of Games. Oh,
because I'm seeing
we
like
sell Gameland, and then it has these locations in California, and it's just literally it's just listing the games.
Yeah, but I think that's maybe numbers beside of what the values are, maybe, or either or the price, either values or price.
I think
so their prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like a little kid being like, instead of reading like a newspaper or whatever, it'd be like, oh, what is this? Can I afford this one? Do I have the allowance for this game? Like,
that is nuts, man. Yeah, just a lot of ads there at the end. Holy cow, that is crazy. It is, and it's, by the way, it's fun to go back and look at stuff like Nintendo Power. EGM's, of course, a great one. That's what we were just looking at. Even Game Pro or Game Informer. Now that that's gone, I bet you there's some archives of that too. Just really fun to jump back and revisit some of that stuff.
This is how Ma and Pa used to do the video game lookings.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, we flipped the pages.
Oh, man. Well, listen, let's wrap it up with any other things that we're playing or watching. I'll let you finish it off, Dan. I'll just tell you a couple of things. Lots of movies this week with the family. We watched both Jumanji movies because the kids had the newer ones.
Oh, the new
with
ones.
The Rock and the old one does not hold up visually, especially. Like Robin Williams is awesome. I love Robin Williams.
Sure.
but visually it's really a rough watch. The two new ones are just very shallow, but they have enough highlights. The kids really enjoyed it. I laughed a
Mm,
few times. Like Jack Black's very funny.
sure.
Kevin, they're all having fun. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
like if you approach it like, hey, this is just junk food of kind of family movies, it's fine.
Sure,
Like
sure.
they're both fine. I know some people hate them. I don't hate them at all. I think they made me laugh. Um, and then watched the Home Alone movies this week, both the first
Dude,
two.
the first one's
Um,
my favorite Christmas movie. That one's my favorite.
it's
So.
the music alone is just
Yeah,
perfect. If
yeah,
you
yeah.
haven't, go to watch the movies that make us on Netflix and watch the Home Alone episode, and you can see how close they came to it not happening or not
Oh,
being what it is. Like it's a really
okay.
fascinating behind the scenes. They even show like the high school gym pool that they used for the flooding scene, like all kinds of stuff that they did that was really
Oh,
interesting.
okay.
And also how the music was not really set till like the last hour, and it was just the movie wasn't really
Oh, wow.
working until they got the score. Like, oh, there it is. Okay,
Wow.
now the movie works.
Dude, that's
So,
like Gladiator. That's like what Kyle was saying with
dude,
like how they
because
were
of
just kind of
Kyle,
piecing Gladiator.
exactly because of Kyle, I went and watched a bunch of YouTube videos on Gladiator. That's insane. Like
Yeah,
they rewrote things. Sometimes Russell Crowe came up with some of his most killer lines at
sure.
times. Sometimes he disagreed with the director on what should or shouldn't be in it a lot. Some of the
Oh,
lines looked really bad on the page, but the delivery was so good that they
hmm,
kept it. Anyway, lots of really cool stuff
that's crazy.
from
Yeah.
from that movie. So yeah, lots of fun movies we've watched this week as a family. That's been a really good time. And then as far as playing, I've been mainly playing. I was trying to really double down into Star Wars Outlaws, so I've spent some time with that one when I've done some gaming. And
Mm,
I got my son into Unicorn Overlord, and he finished it.
right.
He played it like
Oh,
all
wow. He
week
finished
and
it
finished it. Yeah. And I was like, dude,
too.
I didn't mean for you to beat it before me.
So we'll have him on here. He can
So we'll
discuss
have
it.
him on to talk about it. But he got super hooked on it. He loves it. And you could tell he's in that gaming funk. Like, well, now what do I play?
Yeah, yeah.
I know
Oh,
that,
yeah. That feeling is that feeling's
especially after
rough.
a game like that, where it's just
Yeah,
so in depth and so lengthy.
yeah.
Um, but anyway, so he's also now playing Star Wars Outlaws. So, um, so I'm playing some of that. But the last 2 or 3 days, I have stayed up way too late playing Red Dead Redemption Remastered on
Oh,
PC.
sure, sure.
I am fully back into that, and yet again appreciating how that, what is that now, 13-year-old game, 14-year-old game? What
Pretty
year was
old.
that?
Yeah.
Was it 2010?
I think we had checked last time, and it was
I
like,
think
oh
it's
wow,
2010.
that's older than we remember.
It is so good. The voice acting is amazing. The story is really compelling. The characters are wacky, but the
2010. Yeah.
gameplay, 2010, okay. But the gameplay still really works super well.
Hmm.
The like the world that you're exploring, of course, now with all of the improvements, it looks even more beautiful than it already did. It's really crisp. It runs super smooth. There's still some of that jank in there of like a character that's supposed to load in, all of a sudden is standing on top of the carriage and then you sit back down.
Sure.
Like there's those little moments here and there. But for the most part, it works great. Going out and taking bounties and hog tying the bad guys to bring them back to
Mhm.
all that stuff is great. And I thought I would play it and find myself thinking like, well, this isn't as good as two. This isn't very fun. Like two is so much bigger and so much more
Yeah.
in depth. And there's
Mhm.
so many more things to do, everything from hunting to fight, like all of it.
The
But
nuance of it. Yeah.
one still works so well.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it and finding myself, at least not too many times, thinking like, well, this is a problem. Like the storage on your horse and stuff like that is kind of cool in the second one. They add
Mm.
these extra layers of like how you can keep an extra gun in the saddle and all
Hmm.
that. Like that
Yeah.
stuff's really cool. Um, but you don't really need it. In the first game, it just, dude, it works super well. And now that I've played the second and know the characters, going back to the first has been really interesting because
Yeah.
a lot of the characters they reference, I'm like, oh yeah, I was with that character the entire last game or
Yeah.
second game or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am absolutely loving it and just got to the part where you go down into Mexico to kind of expand the map a little bit. So I'm
Yep.
doing that, and then my plan is to jump into Undead Nightmare, see if I can finish that too because I really loved that. I remember in Undead Nightmare you can even get like these mythological. I remember getting a horse that had like flame coming out
Yeah.
of it and
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah. There was like the fantastical,
I think there's
mounts.
4 horses of the apocalypse or something
I
that
think
you can
so. I
get.
think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I'm excited to play that too. But it's just
Yeah. I
that time
never
of
finished
year
Undead
where
Nightmare either.
I still have it installed. I was like, let me play a little bit more of this, and now I can't stop. I'm like, shoot, I freaking love this game.
I
I
mean, the
should be
Mexico
playing other
part's pretty
stuff.
far in, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's pretty, yeah,
I think I've played about 12, 13 hours or
yeah.
so. Um, Something like that. So just freaking love it. I really love that game. It's so good. So that's been mainly what I've been doing for gaming time. Has been those two things. Has been Outlaws and Red Dead Redemption. But what about you?
Yeah, so still just metaphor. I mean, metaphor is very long, so still plugging away at that. Um, I got a couple of extra things on Celeste. Oh, I did the two B-sides that I have. Yeah, those are
B-sides are
tough,
so
dude.
hard. Yeah.
Dude, I did beat the two that I have so far, but goddamn, those are difficult. Holy crap.
Yes.
But like I love the remixes of the music too. Like really good jams. Um, so it's cool that it's not just like it's like, oh, here's kind of like a gauntlet of like rooms that are really extra challenging to kind of like test all of the things that you learn in the base game. Like they actually are remixing the tracks too, which is really fun.
Mm, I like that.
Um, and then game wise, that's it. Aside from Final Fantasy VI, I did stream that on Wednesday. Um,
Little pre-Thanksgiving stream.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because I kind of just wanted to give the like Thanksgiving and onward, just like because I've been trying to stream Tuesdays and Fridays, but I was like, I don't know if I want to stream Friday because I kind of just Black Friday to me, even though I haven't worked retail for at least a decade, a little over a decade, it's just still so special to me to not have to work on Black Friday.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like my second favorite holiday. I'm like I just sit on my ass and I don't do a damn thing because
And
I worked
there's no
retail and it
like
was awful.
holiday responsibilities. You don't have to
No,
gather with family to do
no.
a big event. It literally is just an extra Saturday,
Right.
basically. Yeah.
And I get to eat second, you get the
The
leftovers. So it's second
leftovers.
Thanksgiving. It's
Yep.
second Thanksgiving. So it's
That's
just a
right.
good day. It's just a good day.
I agree.
Um, but yeah, so more FF6. I'm past the part where there's early on where you split up into three different scenarios. So you do those three scenarios. So I finished those and then I made it to that town that's kind of like it looks like it's all run down and there's just a lot of criminals running around and you're going up the
Okay.
building.
Yep.
You're going
Yep.
up
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
that's where I last left off.
Okay.
I did want to just throw out there so 7 is my favorite. I've obviously mentioned that before. And I do
What?
think that huh? And I do think Sephiroth is actually legitimately a cool villain. People like to like be like, well, like mama's boy, whatever. And it's like, well, sure, there's the whole mother thing. I get that, but like he's actually just a terrifying force of nature because he's
Yeah.
just this super soldier that's
He's
just
also
like
very unpredictable. You don't know what he's about to do.
right, and he's just like his whole thing is manipulation. That's like mainly
Yeah.
Sephiroth's thing because he's manipulating Cloud. Like that's
Right.
the main thing, right? To do all of the stuff. Um, but Kefka is just a psychopath. Like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like he just wears it on his sleeve. And like
Yeah.
there's the part early on where it's like there's the whole poisoning thing and you're like,
Yes.
"Oh wow, like when you really break that down like what he just did there and then like you go to like this you go to that, castle, that city, it's
Yep.
like, "Oh, wow. That's actually very disturbing."
That's for
Like
Cyan, right? His
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like if they ever remade like this game, like in like say like a nicer, like kind of Final Fantasy style, like
Mhm.
visuals,
It's
like
dark, man.
yeah, they could like play that up to bit, but that would be like I don't even know. Like, do you show like kids being all just like, like I don't know,
Good
like
point.
kind of twisted. Um,
He's kind of like
but
Joker. Like he was clearly inspired by a Joker with the clown makeup, but also with the
yeah,
cackle and just like causing chaos and death and thinking
yeah.
it's hilarious. But yeah.
Yeah, he just like anytime anybody mouths off to him, like the soldiers, he's just kind of like, why are you even talking back to me? Like
Yeah.
we have to murder everybody. Like,
Yeah.
so he's just very, you know, yeah, he's just very unapologetically psychotic. So
Yep.
it's a different energy. It's a different energy.
It is very different.
It's a scary energy, very
Yeah.
unpredictable. So, but yeah, I could definitely, I've never been like, oh, I don't get why people like Kafka. I've never been like that. But like, obviously now this is going to be more fresh on my mind, and I'm seeing these things, and I kind of actually forgot the extent of that poison scene. I was like, oh, that's really, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
And it's
Um,
funny too with those kind of graphics to really give him they clearly want him to be very theatrical, again, very
Sure.
Joker-like.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
just have his little pixely character kind of bounce around the screen a lot.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I actually like to me that worked as a kid as I played it. Like I could totally visualize like what
Yeah.
he was doing. So I'd be fascinated to see in any kind of improved graphical mode, even if it is HD 2D, but if it's more than that, also like what would that look like? Yeah, it's definitely
Well, this
theatrical and over the top and terrifying.
I don't know if you've seen because I don't think you've played them, but that you could at least like watch the cutscenes of the Final Fantasy Dissidia games.
Never did.
Those are the PSP ones where
Okay.
they're I don't really know what you call them because it's like they're like action RPG fighting games.
Oh,
Like
I know
there's a
what you're talking about.
storyline,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like it's kind of like an arena and you're sort of like dashing around like anime
Okay.
style and like but it's like a fighting game but it's like an action game that's with RPG element like it's very unique and a little weird but like Kefka is in there and there's cutscenes and like it's like him fully rendered in 3D like so and I
Hmm.
actually went to YouTube and I looked up like I was like does he laugh in the game? I went to go look up like what his actual because obviously in 6 Super Nintendo it's just like the little chip tune like the
Right.
cackle you know what I mean
Right.
and then
Right.
I pulled that up to be like what the actual laugh and I'm like oh this is actually horrifying because
Yep.
it has a Joker element to it so
Yep.
yeah they definitely played into that
And I like that it's clearly inspired by Joker, but he's not the exact same. Like the motivations
yeah
are way
no
different and all that stuff. But like, there's enough
yeah
there that I'm like, man, he's a compelling bad guy because you hate him so much and you're scared of him at the same time.
yeah yeah
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of clowns. I mean, my wife is, and I don't get the fear, but I definitely get the fear of unhinged, unpredictable psychopaths.
Yep.
um,
I don't necessarily want to be around them, but
yeah, no,
they don't bother me unless I'm watching something about John Wayne Gacy or it.
sure,
Then I don't like them.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't eat me, just don't eat me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, don't eat my flesh.
Yeah.
But then as far as watching, I finished the last season of My Hero Academia, so I finished that. I was like watching the episode, and I was just like, oh man, I can't believe they left on that cliffhanger. What's gonna happen? Oh, oh, that was the last episode. Are you
Oh.
kidding me? That's the last episode. Are you kidding me?
Uh,
So like on like this ridiculous extreme like cliffhanger of like
so you're caught
these
up on that show now.
yes.
Okay.
And the next season is confirmed last season.
Okay.
So
And when
we're
is that
like
next year?
um yeah, I would guess last year. I don't know how late into next year, but um yeah, dude, I don't know. It's so like I think I mentioned last time like I knew about a thing that was going to happen and it did happen, but it's kind of wild cuz it's like it happens and then like there's kind of like a panic, but like there's so many things happening because we're building up towards the end, right? So there's just all of this, there's all these different like kind of situations happening. There's the main situation of the main character there dealing with one of the main bad guys, and then there's just kind of like the ancillary things because the main bad guy he essentially assembled like an army of villains. So and then there's like the main sort of villains that have like the little peons under them, and they're all kind of like around, scattered around, doing all this stuff. Um, but yeah, there's just so much happening, and I think sometimes too with like manga is like when it then like when they translate it to anime, there's they cut some stuff out, I think, and
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's
Yeah.
what happened here for sure. I don't know if it has, but it does sometimes feel like it's a little rushed, and it doesn't bother me that much because I didn't read the manga. Um, but I can definitely see, in instances when that does happen, where some people kind of like, "Oh man, come on, you cut out X, Y, Z or whatever." But
Right.
either way, I still enjoy the anime very much. Even if there were like any little tidbits here and there that have been cut out. But yeah, I can't believe they ended it there. I was like, are you kidding? Like we're literally smack dab in the middle of this brawl, like smack dab in the middle of it, and they're like, all right, and scene. It's like that's so rude.
Yeah.
Um, and then the only other main thing, Arcane. So I just wrapped up because I wanted to rewatch I hadn't rewatched the first season since I initially watched it.
Yeah, you need to be
Um,
reintroduced to the characters and all the moving
yeah,
pieces.
because I
Yeah.
like forgot I definitely forgot a decent amount of the stuff, and I especially forgot the way that the first season ends. Like the very last
Crazy.
moment of the first, I was like, oh, I completely
Also,
forgot
that
she
whole
shot.
final
Like,
scene around the table and then leading up
Yeah.
to that final moment where the
Yeah.
music, the shots,
Yep.
like it's directed brilliantly. Like
Oh yeah.
it's just brilliant.
The perspectives of it all
Oh, it's
like
so
is
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the way it crescendos as she's just like I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it's so like, and then it just cuts. So after we wrap up here, I'm gonna go start season 2.
Yeah, season 2 is brilliant. I haven't finished it yet. I think I have the last 2 episodes left, maybe. Um, it's so good. I've been watching it with my son. He actually watched ahead and finished it.
ooh,
Big meanie.
dude, he's just
But
jumping. He's just finishing things left and right.
this is a different son. All my kids are
Oh,
way
okay.
faster than me now. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they're
Like
all just yeah. They have no
I'm
response.
just up
They're
on
kids, right?
I'm
Hmm?
up on the side of the hill getting stuck in minivans like an idiot, and they're over here finishing all my video games and
Yeah,
shows.
you're out there trying to
Um,
survive, Tim, and they're just
but
beating
dude, it
games and
maintains that excellence. It's
good.
brilliant. It's so good, and um, I have no clue how it's going to wrap up, but I do know this that I'm going to want more when it's done, but
Sure.
there's part of me that's really glad that they had a vision for what this is going to be, and it's like
Yeah,
done because that allows it to be complete and they don't have to force another storyline and make you go like, it's getting old now. Like, I think more shows should do that. Now, they could do a whole nother series in that same universe and the like League of Legends, something else,
yeah.
it could be
Which
about something else.
they've confirmed they are.
Yeah,
If I'm, I just don't know what those are going to entail.
because
But
even in season 2, they introduce new characters and kind of new versions of some characters that and they
mm,
and they're already compelling and interesting and likable
yeah,
and I'm like if these people are allowed to keep making content it kind of doesn't matter it doesn't need to be the same characters over and over again they'll
sure,
do a good job telling new stories so I'm just excited I'm excited to wrap up this and see how it finishes I'm looking
yeah.
forward to it but I'm also really excited to see what they do next because dude their pedigree is amazing like
Well, it's
they're
just
really good
the show takes place in one city, like
yeah
and the sort of like outskirts, the whole
yeah
slums area, but it's one city, and like
yeah
there's even a character in the first season that shows up, a woman, and it's like there's this discussions of like, oh, this war stuff happening over here, like there's a whole
yeah
world that they could just explore and keep making shows, and like if the quality
right
of storytelling is there. I mean, animation wise, they're nailing it. So
they got that
it's just
part
a matter
down.
of telling the good stories and having
Yeah, you're
something
gonna love
worthwhile to
some of
see.
the stuff they do in the second one. There's ways they do different montage sequences. It's just brilliant,
Yeah.
man. Because the bridge fight with Echo and Jinx is
Mm,
one of the coolest things ever. And they
I
have
forgot
some
about that
moments
too.
that are like that. But that dude, that in the first season, that's my
Yeah.
favorite sequence, I think. The way it jumps back and forth between them being kids, friends, and the
Yeah.
TikTok of like all of it is so good.
Yeah. It was
It's so
really,
good.
really unique. Yeah.
Yeah. But and the second season has a few of those types of things too. But having played a good amount of Mage Seeker and The Ruined King, they've got a lot of source material to draw from and characters to inject to tell some
Yeah.
really and that's just video games, right? Imagine how much better the characters and story would be in a series, like an animated
Right.
series. So yeah.
Yeah. Dude, but this show is gorgeous. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like I remembered, and we've always said like anyone out there who hasn't watched, like, please watch it just even off the visuals. But it's like, even though I knew in my head, it's like I know this is beautiful. Like now, like rewatching it, I'm like, dude, what? How is this possible? Like this show
Yeah.
is too good. It's visually too good.
It is. It
It's
sets the bar
insane.
too high. It's kind of
Yeah,
unfair if you think about it.
it is. It's unfair for all the little guys.
Yeah. Very true. Well, I think that's it for us this week. Thank you everybody for watching and listening, going down memory lane with us a little bit, looking at some old like I honestly am going to jump back in and look at some of the other issues just because I think it's so freaking fun to see to kind of do a blast from the past on those magazines sometimes.
Yeah,
I'll get another one for when Kyle and especially if Jeff or maybe Dan Phillips or one of the other elder statesman gamers among us can join us to kind of do a little flashback. It'd actually be
maybe
interesting to do one a little newer, like even do one that's right around 2000,
mm,
2002 era,
I,
because
I was
that's when
gonna
you've
say
got
97.
PlayStation 2. Okay, 97, when there's PlayStation and N64 and all that stuff happening.
Maybe a certain Final Fantasy game. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Tactics? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Mystic
Um,
Quest.
but thank you guys all for being here. Don't forget, join us on Discord. That way you can keep an eye out for announcements and any giveaways, those kind of things. But if you're on YouTube, thanks for supporting, subscribing, liking, all that good stuff. Um, appreciate you being here. And hey, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And that's it. We're out of here. Peace.